Welcome in, folks. Gordo here from Gordos Games. We're back today with a tier list in memory of our Metal Gear series month. I say a month, I feel like it's going to go on a little bit longer than that, but you're joining us there. And today we are joined by, I was going to say the one, the only, the man we all know, but in case you don't know him, you should check him out on YouTube, Twitch, all those different variety of places. XL86J, a speedrunner, challenge runner, hitless wonder, sorry, you know, in Elden Ring, Resident Evil 2, he does a multitude of things, so you should definitely check him out, and his links will be in the description down below. Howdy, XL.
I like trains. Yeah, I like trains.
He does.
I'm just some guy, really. He's pulled me in off the street to talk about Metal Gear Solid today. Um,
Felt
but
bad
yeah,
for him.
I think it's going to be a bit of fun. I recently have played through some of the games casually in like celebration of the new Master Collection, but I do speedrun MGS 2 predominantly out of the series. I'm not super familiar with the speedruns for 1 and 3, which is where Gordo's expertise lies, but I will try and hopefully chip in and general nostalgia. I'm a fan of the series, so it's going to be good to talk about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the tier list itself is just a little bit of a reflection before we get Metal Gear Solid 4 coming out, because we have the Master Collection on the verge as of the 27th of August. A lot of people are hyped for that, as it's been locked behind the PlayStation 3 for absolutely, I don't know how long. We need a Chibi XL head in the corner. I mean, I could do that.
It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the screen, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just there. I was going to say, I've got it right there for you, don't worry. Also, those from Twitch, say hi to YouTube. Characteristically wise, we're going to be looking at technically what some of these fights bring to it, story points they bring to it, and then just give an overall encompassum as to how we think the relevance or how good of a boss fight they were. The one we're starting with, we're going to go in order of the bosses as they appear through the games, as far as I've remembered them. Some bosses I'm not going to separate into the two fights, because I don't think it's warranted. Yes, I'm looking at you, Vamp, because Vamp 2 is not a fight.
We
Just
can
don't miss.
combine them into one instance, right? Technically.
Exactly. Like for me, Sniper Wolf 1 and Sniper Wolf 2 are two different fights for
They,
reasons and how you approach them.
yes, we'll get to that, but yeah, you're very right. Yeah, I agree.
So let's start. Ocelot, our very, very first boss, a big piece within the Metal Gear series as well.
Revolver Ocelot,
That's the
the
guy.
legend. Mm-hmm.
Now,
So
technically speaking,
what can we say about him initially? Like, how do you want to format your rankings here? Like, each character needs like a little. We need to rate each character on a few things, like maybe design, boss fight, and speed run, and then put it into a letter, right? Surely,
yeah,
like that. It's an S tier
that's
boss. A tier.
exactly
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
So their
I'm
technical
with it. I'm with it.
capacity, their speedrun capacity, and their story capacity, I think. So what they bring to it.
Yeah.
So they may not be the best fight, but what do they bring something in terms of the story development?
Well, Revolver Ocelot is an interesting fight because it's the first one in the game, and you learn about the ricochet bullet mechanic, which only he can do, as far as I know. Maybe I don't know if I can't even remember if the player can do it.
No, we can't do it. As far as I'm aware, we can't do it. Then again, I
Good
mean, I've
night
shot the
from
walls.
Gordos Games.
I believe we only get tracer rounds on the last couple of rounds on some guns, and that's it. We don't get ricochet like he does, right? Someone
No,
chat would have to correct us here, but chat, get the wiki open just in case. Okay.
I mean, look, no. YouTube comments roast me if there's ricochet, then roast me. Come at me. I'm
Yeah,
legit.
yeah.
That's fine.
Tell us in the comments. The engagement would help. So yeah, let us know if there is ricochet. Please do comment below and tell us. But either way, I think it's a cool mechanic. You've got Baker tied up in the center. He's got C4 strapped to him. You're playing an action movie. Cool factor is already a 9, and you're like an hour into the game. I'm a little bit biased because I love MGS1. It's so good.
I know.
But yeah,
So controversially, so I think story aspects wise, I think he adds a lot anyway, because Ocelot is a big part of the series. So I think that places him pretty high for me. Just the opening scenes of the game, setting the story, getting involved with the characters.
but you don't know that on a first playthrough.
No,
You don't know how
that's it.
significant he is until maybe a person picking up the series now does. But we didn't in '99, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
He
exactly
was
it.
just first
It was
of
just
the
a
bad
geezer.
guys.
He was just an old
Yeah,
geezer that shot you. So if we are gonna justify on that, so he adds little in terms of it to early on. Technical wise in the fight, It
It's not
isn't the
too complicated, is it?
it's
Running
not it's
around.
not it's not a very technical one. You are running in a box and shooting him or
Yeah.
grenading him. Just for those who know, if you know, you know, nade him. Um, and
And if you're playing Twin Snakes, the remake, you can first person trank him in the head without moving.
true, true. I
But
mean,
we're not talking. So, oh, also, I guess it's worth pointing out that in this instance, I believe we're only covering MGS One, PS1. We're not covering the remake on the GameCube, the Twin Snakes, which is a remake in the MGS Two engine and has different mechanics. Because that could make this video a lot longer than it needs to be right now.
absolutely. This is just
However,
based on Metal Gear Solid One Master Collection version one or the OG one. You can get on
yeah,
Dog Station, all that
just
stuff.
however, if you do want to see us cover the Twin Snakes, comment below, and we should endeavor to do that.
Absolutely, there is more Metal Gears than just these three. At the moment, we're doing these three. There is anticipation to do four when that has dropped and we have spent a little bit of time in it. We may extend this out
I'm
further than that.
I'm down for that because there's some interesting mechanics to talk about in regard to those boss fights because of the lethal non-lethal capacity. But anyway,
There you go. Stay tuned for that one, folks. So, if we're going to go in the aspect of rating them, folks in chat as well on the Twitch, because you're live, you can have a say. If you want to shout out where you
please
place
do.
them,
We encourage it. Yeah.
me, I think mid tier. I think he's a B. I don't think he's not irrelevant, but he, in terms of what he gives you for a boss fight, there is definitely some better ones.
I think I agree because it's only just an introduction just to Foxhound and who they are as a unit, and he's the very first boss of the game. He has to be approachable because he's the first boss. Um, So yeah, I think B is good for that particular Ocelot. Obviously, there are other versions in the
Hmm.
series that we'll cover, but there's not a lot to it. You unfortunately don't fight him again in that game, but it's an all in all. It's cool factor. It's like an 8, but it is all even in the speed run or casually. I don't think that much changes. As opposed to in the speed run, you loop him, don't you? You do that little
Yeah, you
where
basically you chase him around, you get a shot on him, he'll like get his iframes for a second, you do a little circle to rotate around, then just go zing back in for a shot, and then you continue to do that little loop and keep shooting him and just chasing him, and you spend most of your time on his tail. If you do it, the other version of it, which you can see from like the individual levels of boss fights, you throw a couple of grenades over there and kill him that way. Technically speaking, is the quickest, but you don't like you have to have the grades there to use to
yeah,
do that.
I'd be too scared to do that personally because I know how
You kill a
close to
baker
them
in a
wires you
second.
can be. Yeah, there's an ammo box in the top right corner of where Baker is tied up in between the struts, and it's just spinning on the wires, and it's very easy to step over it and just touch the wires and explode, as I found out the other week.
No, 100%, 100%. It's definitely one can catch you out. Reap story wise, I'll slide as an S, but fight wise, MGS one I'd say C, maybe B. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think we're agreeing.
yeah,
He's in the B section.
good
He's got stuff to work on.
introduction. Yeah, good intro, but like a good intro to the game, but nothing outstanding, which would be the best is yet to come, as they may say.
Next on the list, I mean, I put it on the list because technically it is still one. The M1 tank. Now, story wise, I'm gonna say it's a hard D. Yeah, I said that, folks. It doesn't
Yeah.
offer a lot, but technically speaking, it can be a pain. It can be a
For
pain
cool,
if you don't do it correctly.
for cool factor, there's the element of if you get shot by it, Vulcan Raven will come out of the hatch and bang on the top of the tank like in absolute hysterical laughter, and then or do thumbs downs at you and things, which I find hilarious if you're getting messed up sometimes, but like on your approach to the tank.
So yeah, no, yeah, exactly. You've got the aspects like that because it doesn't offer a lot in terms of story. You will see the Vulcan Ravens in it, and he'll mock you a little bit. So he adds some humor to it. Um, Technically, the fight itself does have some things you need to do. Okay, we'll do this first from a casual standpoint. How would you approach the M1 tank, Excel? How do you deal with it?
Um, Well, I know it's hard to say this as like a first time player casually, but as a old man casually, I've done it many times, and I know to use chaff grenades. But You can use your codec. Even a first-time player, you're encouraged to use your codec, and you will get told to the chaff grenades would be good for disabling the tank's tracking. Nastasha tells you this specifically if you have her on like speed dial. So yeah, the approach to it casually is throw a chaff grenade to throw off its tracking for its cannon and whatnot, and then cook a normal fragmentation grenade and throw it on top of the tank to kill the gunner, which you have to repeat twice, I believe.
Yes. So yeah, effectively, the strat you're looking for is this. This is speaking from very easy speedrun. Initially throw chaff, runs slightly over just to the slight right of the kind of tread track for where the tank is. Take a knee. The grenade, he will shoot the tank. The tank will shoot at you. It will hit the kind of the snow pile next to you. Run towards him, charge a grenade, launch it. If you get the aim correctly in there and it goes straight in first shot, you will take down the first gunner. It will go through a section where the second gunner will pop out, and then it will be a case of you kind of line it up initially before he pops out, have it pre-charged, throw it, goes in, boom, done, and run away, well, walk away in style as the tank blows up behind you, like they do in the movies.
Can we just cover the fact that am I right in thinking you said you can crouch the tank shot?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is amazing. I didn't know that. Basically, I do what you said casually. That is even most casuals will play it the same way, but not with the precision that you explained. Of course, we run around in panic and fear while also trying to do what you said, not knowing that you can crouch the tank cannon. I'm so going to use that in my next playthrough now.
Yep. Just there, as you go from it, so you'll be like at the like behind a rock at the very start. You'll throw the chaff, run right diagonally. You'll see the kind of tread tracks that you're looking to be just slightly past the right hand one. Take a knee, he'll take the shot and he'll miss you.
Oh wow! Just for style points alone, I bet that looks cool.
Exactly. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a knee here, then run towards him, grenade in hand. You get that off, and you get the second one off afterwards when it comes when the second gunner pops out, and by that point you've run away. You're like, yeah, that grenade's in. He's dead, right? Like a fashionable movie. Explosions in the background, tanks going up in flames, and you're just running away or walking away, should I say? So I think technically speaking, it has some good aspects to it. Not massive details. There's not like a very lengthy fight, but you still have to make sure you have the right prep because it can go wrong.
If I'd have thought about this, I would have sent you my videos to show the gameplay while we were talking about it.
I mean, I have the runs there. I can bring those up as we go.
Yeah, you could show off the speedrun boss fights just in the background, like even on mute. But just while you're talking about it, have it over the tier list.
Folks, I'm going to show you from the aspect of SRC. Now, this credits each of the runners that have done this. This is just their... this is random videos I'm going to pull up. You'll see the names for them if you want to check these people out. And their YouTubes, Twitches and that, feel free to do so. Here we go. This is M1 Tank, so as you see. And this one here, the routes, and aspects of how they do them will vary. So, as I said, I've mentioned the way that I do it, which is where I take the knee and then crouch it. Full disclaimer, some versions may differ. There you go. So he took a lie down.
Same thing, essentially.
Yeah.
Might be more. He might trust that more.
That was a strong grenade.
See how you like that.
And obviously a casual player, at this point with this game's age, casual players know some of the strats, but we mostly don't execute them to this precision and practice, of course. But the format is the same.
Exactly. And he's already through the second grenade. He knows. And that's the M1 tank. As I said, technical wise, there is still some things to remember in there. Having to dodge the first initial shot to make sure you chaff, making sure you grenade correctly in the right spots.
Does it take more grenades on higher difficulties?
I
think it does, right?
This is it will take more because their health pool will be higher.
Yeah, that's what I would assume so. But I mean, we don't know. I don't want to, we're not going to go through every difficulty of every boss, but
no.
We can show some of these. I don't know if you wanted to.
No, for the most part we can cover all of them, but like this one's only a very short one, so and it's still the same,
See
still
how you
two.
like this. Okay. So that, yeah, add this in. Are you gonna? I suppose you're not gonna chop and edit this down, are you?
Yeah, no, we might do.
Okay,
Um,
because you could cut to this bit and yeah, so we can show that even on high difficulties, that fight does remain the same. However, that is not the case across the series. But what do we think about that? So narratively, it's a D. You specifically said that, and I agree. On
mhm,
its own, it's like if we could put individual letters on the icon itself, it would just have a D for narrative. But cool factor, I think it's cool fighting a tank as the second boss. And
mhm.
in 1999, it wasn't as overdone as it would be now. So it was quite. You have to. I like to think of games for their release years, and at the time, it was somewhat unique-ish, having to throw grenades up there, and it felt a little bit precise for what it was, and it still is.
No, 100%. I think, yeah, 100% story D. I think it's a C. I think the technical aspect brings it up a little bit, but because it adds literally nothing else, it's just very minimal comparison to some of these other iconic pieces on the roster.
Yeah, it just has the cool cutscene, Snake doing the backflip, and the cool Vulcan Raven banging on the tank. So, like for cool factor, we're already acing it, but otherwise, yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah,
just it's there.
it is certainly it's got some aspects of memes with Vulcan's part, but it's rather minimal what it brings to it, and it is very short. The taxing getting the tank down, I will tell you all firsthand, they're not always the easiest, so don't underrate that. But give it a go yourself, and let me know in the comments if you tried it and if you failed.
I,
So I can tell you now
how
I did.
else would you like? How else would you think it's supposed to be done? Or how else can you do that? I have heard you can claim all the treads. You can
Hmm.
claim all the treads to slow down its movement, and I didn't know that until like recently.
Yeah, I believe it's still the aspects there. I mean, it's supposed to be grenades. It's just a case of working out the best ways to do it. Because like, if you don't, the chaff I think is one pretty well known by most people when a fight. The tank is like, well, you use a chaff, you disrupt any electrical things, so hopefully they're not going to see you. So you work that one out pretty quickly, but there are grenades spotted around that area. So the game also gives you the indication that grenades are your way to do this. But I would imagine. I mean, I know from casual aspect when I first did it, I didn't think, well, maybe if if I get this precisely in there, it's gonna kill him one shot. I was like, I probably tried it, but I didn't stand there and overemphasize it. I just yeeted grenade after grenade after grenade.
Oh yeah,
10
that's
grenades
still
later, and
how
he's
I
still
do
there.
it now. Yeah, same. Just because some of them, if they're a little bit past the hatch near the back of the unit, then it doesn't quite damage him, and it's like you can have some grenades that are up there, but they're not quite. Or if Snake gets machine gunned while he's cooking one, he'll drop it.
Hmm.
So there's yeah, it can be quite finicky, especially casually. But yeah,
Yeah. No, we'll I agree with that. We'll go with C with that one. I know
yeah.
we digressed a little bit there. We'll kind of go through these little ones a little bit more. If there's one that we feel we want to show off a little bit, or so we'll kind of reiterate to that one. But for the most part, we'll keep them pretty brief. Ironically, we went off on the tank one above all because the tank one was the most interesting one so far. It
Well,
technically is compared to Ocelot's fight.
yeah, I mean, that's it. There are some unique features, and like I said, yeah, Nastasha tells you about the chaff and everything. It's cool. It's cool.
100%. Okay, everybody's favorite ninja. And no, I'm not talking about Raiden. Um, Good old Grey Fox. Now, story wise, I think he plays quite a big part.
S tier, just
Mm-hmm.
because of his
100%.
reference, his like relevance with Snake from Zanzibar.
Hurt me more. And we all love that line.
Yep.
um,
Only a fool trusts his life to a weapon.
exactly. And the fact he pushes you into having to change up from just shooting because, like, well, you ain't gonna do jack to me. He's like, get your fists out now and let's fight like a man. Um,
Yeah.
which that's interesting, but it's also the interesting part that this is our first instance of multiple phase boss because there's technically three phases if you go based on the aspect of his initial one, his second one
Yeah,
where he gets a
three.
little bit more
It's
triggered, and then you have his shield phase.
Yeah, the
Um,
first phase is just where the first phase is the initial phase when he's dashing through you with the sword or doing the flips, and phase two. technically is the invisible phase, right? Where he's camoed and you can
Mm-hmm.
thermal to find him, or you can just see his predator vision. You can kind of see where he is.
Well, yeah,
And it's
yeah, that's right.
interestingly the first battle in MGS one that we can use melee as well, and are
Mm-hmm.
encouraged to do so.
I have heard of a theory that he's a Venom Snake after the events of 5. I mean, I haven't had that theory, but it'd be hella cool if it was. But I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that, but I can confirm that Reaper is correct. It's just cool as hell looking. He's a
It's I
cyborg ninja.
That is a far-fetched theory about him being Venom, but that's none of that. If that would potentially or could be retconned in nowadays, but also not because of Venom's actual purpose being to become Big Boss for the first Metal Gear, leading then into Metal Gear 2, where Grey Fox is, and it's sort of like Big Boss is also in that game, so that kind of doesn't fly.
I'd agree. I mean,
Nerd lore speaking,
no,
just
no, no.
unfamiliar with the whole franchise, so.
We take that. We take that. That's fine. I think this one's really clear for me. I don't think it goes in top. I think it goes in S tier. I can't say a bad thing about it. I mean, the fight may like from an speedrun aspect may get a bit monotonous on the time and the side of speedrunning it because the fight's a
Um,
little bit slow.
and casually, it's a bit tough because if you try and shoot him, he will deflect your bullets with his sword, but he will also slash through you, and the move is quite unreactable and can two-shot you. His flip, like diagonal flip thing that he does, equivalent of Raiden's cartwheel, has like a weird sideways hitbox that even when you're just in the phantom of the attack, it still hits you. It's I could probably show some clips here from my recent playthrough, but he can be a bit of a monster. Um, and you to whiff punish his attacks is very tight because I fight in melee only until the final phase. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's a tough but rewarding battle. It usually will be, in my experience, even as an experienced player that's not a speedrunner of the game, I would say Ninja is the wall. He is the first point I get to where I die a couple of times and I'm like, all right, hang on a minute, let me sit forward in my chair. I have to actually try here now because he's doing me. Sort of, sometimes you'll win first time, sometimes he bodies you. It depends how much you remember, but he's a good fight.
we need a Raiden versus Ninja fight. I mean, we all pay to see
Would be
that
good.
fight. I
That would be
do think Raiden's upgrades do take it in the end. Though I'm just gonna say,
I
not just
really
two. No, it
wish.
has to be. It would be Raiden. It would be Rising Raiden if anything,
Yeah, it'd have to be
or four,
Cyborg
or
Ninja Raiden.
four.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
could accept
yeah. So
four
Rising or
Raiden.
4 is the supreme one.
Um,
I'm
I-
disappointed that Olga's ninja never got like she was only enhanced because of her suit, and unfortunately, it didn't really get to go much further than the Big Shell because of her story. But
just wasn't. Just didn't hold the part down. Clearly, the better parents. Conflict and victory clearly weren't enough.
yeah, exactly. If only her unit was backing her up, dude.
Mm-hmm. 100%. So I think Grey Fox. I'm thinking ARS tier. Um,
Yeah, I
I
think
think it holds enough.
narratively amazing. Boss fight itself amazing, casual and speed run. It's a tough fight and it's a fun fight. Might be a little bit boring for you guys who run it, but and cool factor, you're fighting a cyborg ninja in 1999 and this dude just says how it's like one of his Japanese animes. It's like this, you're fighting in an office. It also has some good environmental things to talk about, like all the stacks of paper going flying and everything in a
Mm-hmm.
1999 video game. Yeah, I think to me S tier, A or S minimum. Yeah,
Yep, I'll go with S. Moving on, we have one of two for Sniper Wolf here. So this was purely referencing our first interaction with Sniper Wolf, which will be... Oh, I've missed one on here, which I'm going to have to add in shortly. 2 6. I'll fix that myself.
who did this?
Psycho Mantis.
Oh,
I was like, oh my god, how did I forget Psycho
how did
Mantis
you
of
forget
all things?
Mantis, dude?
I know, right? Like, I just looked at like, hang on, I didn't put him in, did I? Like, oh yeah, shit, that guy.
I
But
see
yeah,
you are a cautious man. You haven't even included me in the tier list. That is good. Like, fucking.
yep, no, that's on me. That's on me. I just do that very quickly.
Please stand
So,
by. Your tier list is important to us. We are experiencing some technical difficulties due to having Excel as a
fixed.
guest.
Nah, fixed. Easy. Look at that. Resolved in 2 seconds. All right.
Boom! Psycho Mantis.
But yeah, so we'll Sniper Wolf first, then Mantis.
Michael
My
Phelps.
apologies, FX. So Sniper Wolf. Okay.
Sniper
I think
1. Oh gosh.
let's put the characteristics in this. This is a PlayStation 1 game, predominantly, folks. Right? If anybody's played it originally, it's a PlayStation 1 game. All right. PlayStation 1 didn't have analogs. It didn't have smooth movement. It was not a clear and decisive sniping method. It was
No.
clunky. It was
Met
fucking
Metal
horrible.
Gear Metal Gear Solid was released before Ape Escape, I believe, right? Because Ape Escape in like '99, just after this, was the first game to have analog controls
And
specifically.
I mean, I will also stipulate as well. The analogs only help so much because it's still the goal of the game is obviously of an age where it can be a little bit clunky, and if you don't take the appropriate drugs, because there are some you can take, is it diazepam or is it diazepam?
It's Diaz in number one, diazepam in number one, which they
That's pens
then
in two.
changed to pentazamine to not
I love how the
in sort
game
of.
changes drugs partway through as a fundamental to that. It's like, okay, yeah, we
I
changed it up.
believe it was changing a quite harsh addictive drug to be a less problematic one. So as when the character is popping them all day, it doesn't encourage people. You see, like
That makes sense. Um, okay, so Sniper Wolf. Story wise, it's an interesting part you get to. In terms of what they add, I'm not. I'm. It's a tough one to say how much. Like I think it's enough, but it's
well,
not like hugely changing at that point.
I would say Sniper will. Well, the thing is, you have to remember what's just happened here is she's just sniped Meryl. So actually, it can be quite significant here because Meryl's in danger, and the whole point of view at this point in the story, Meryl's been shot in the leg, I believe. I think in the leg or and in the side or something. And Campbell's going crazy for you to do something to try and save her, and you're now going to have to go off and get the sniper, right?
Yeah,
So you go and get the PSG one, and now when you come back into the fight, so I feel like in the speed run you miss the narrative situation of it because you skip that, and then you go and get the sniper. But
yep.
actually, there is some stuff going on there. So
I mean, so context wise, like I said, my error in terms of the tier list itself, because we would have gone through Psychomantis before this, but we're doing it this way because I've had to add it in.
that's fine. They're not don't have to be necessarily in order, do they? So it's all
We
good.
we, we
Cover them
don't.
all.
Me personally, I never really attached to Mirror because we just spent like the better part of 5 minutes beating the crap. So I'm okay. You've just been shot fine. I've just punched you or choked you out or shot you or something to floor you because you decided to get mind control. So at that point, I'm like, that's your own fault. All right. If you were less weak minded and you weren't playing in the sand, drawing me little footprints as to where to go, which were irrelevant. All
Because we
right.
just ran straight over them. Yep.
Yes, just to clarify, Reaps, I'm proud seeing those lights in the sky. Yes, you know what song it is. I respect it. I've trained you all well.
That reminds me.
So yeah, so I mean, story wise, then what? Say A, B.
I would say B for this B to A for this part of her story significance, and then A to S for the next part with her and Otacon, just because it's one of the most emotional scenes in the game. You know, does love bloom on Battlefield? Blah blah blah. We'll get to it. But I would say yeah, and in terms of so now gameplay wise, it's horrendous because as Gordo alluded to
Mm-hmm.
earlier, it's horrendous to control. You're shaky. The PSG1 auto zooms in when you equip it, and you can only be prone. You can't stand, you can't crouch, you have to be lying down. And I have a specific trick where I go to the left sort of side and try and use a blind spot that she can't hit me and peek her through the corner and get her. But that my most recent playthrough had sort of cheesed her. But otherwise, she can be a nightmare. And I've seen this in other people's playthroughs where they've had the same experience. Like, it's no joke fighting Sniper Wolf 1. It reminds me of like old school arcade games or Devil May Cry 1, where if you've played it and you know, you know, but a new player is going to have a really hard time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I'd put it down. I'd say just because. I mean, it's not even from a technical aspect. That's just more from the hardware aspect that we're using. It's not even thinking. It's just in this fight here is just aim and shoot. It's just hard to aim and shoot. That's the
It
problem.
is,
That's
yeah.
not even
It's
technical. You
not,
can't even do anything to fix that. It's just get good. It's like I think it's
yeah.
just drop it.
It's
Yeah, I
just
think
finicky. It's yeah.
I'd say C
It's
tier is
not.
about right, Reeves, for me.
Yeah, like it's. I think the second encounter is way more enjoyable. So we'll have
Mhm.
more. I have more to say about that one in a more positive light, especially with how you can approach it. Because there's also this fight's very limited. You can only really win in one way. So that casually or speed run, what we just sniper, right? Even you don't do
Yep, just
anything
sniper.
different.
Just
Yeah,
snipe. Just shoot and
exactly.
win.
So.
Um, so I think C. I think C is reasonable.
Mm.
It's it's not last. I don't think it's justified
No,
to put
no,
it as a last fight, but definitely
and it's
not one of
definitely
the more
above the
favorable
tank.
ones. Yes. This next one's pretty straightforward to be honest. So we're going back here. So this is Psycho Mantis. Now I'm just going to pre put this here just because. I don't think anyone's going to disagree in this room right now. The fight with Psycho Mantis S tier. There's and for
Yeah,
predominantly one reason.
multiple.
Yeah, I mean, I've got just
Sorry,
one
yeah, yeah,
reason.
go,
One
go on.
reason wins it for me here, which is the aspect of the memory of using a second player controller to get out the aspect of him knowing what you're doing. An incredible thing to be put on a console game out of nowhere, and you're sat there when you play this casually. You go into it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna fight him. All right, why is he? Okay, okay, input reader, motherfucker. All right, this is the wrong game here. What are you doing? It's like you seem to know everything you're doing, and then you get the prompts and everything to say, well, he keeps reading all the blah blah stuff you're doing. Maybe change the ports. Do that.
And
Okay.
that
He
takes
doesn't.
multiple calls to achieve to find that information out as well. When Colonel says, "I've got it. Use the controller port."
And as you said, Reeves, in the OG, you could read your memory card as well. Yep. So reference pieces there. Like,
Yeah, Konami games specifically, Suikoden, Castlevania. He could read others as well, but Konami ones, if they were on your memory card, he would mention them. He could also make your controller vibrate.
so I mean, just those things alone made this for a very unique fight. As soon as you enter into it, for one, it's a cool character design. Two, it really elevated things a little bit going from it because obviously at this point here we've gone through Ocelot, we've gone through the tank, the ninja, and then you've got aspects of Psycho Mantis where it just felt very very different. The aspect of coming up with things like I see you save often, and things like that, and references to the stuff you've played. It's
He does reference your gameplay as well, like that part of I see you save often. If you don't save often, he says different things.
hmm So I think just that may not be much from like a technical aspect of things, but that's very interesting boss design, which I think automatically gives it a
Ahead
good
of its time.
standing.
I recently watched a young lad who's playing these for the first time and he's doing no internet, no guides, nothing. And he was blown away by that. And he was like, wow, and you guys played this in 99? What the hell? Like, how would you figure that stuff out, you know? And like, we're not covering in it here, but some of the things like the anti-piracy of having Merrill's code on the back of the game case and stuff like that, it's so good.
100%.
Even in the speed run, you guys have to reassign your controller to fight him, right?
Yeah, and depending on the version you're on, if you're on Master Collection, you have to do like the select and start button together,
Mm.
change it to port 2. If you're on original hardware, you do the whole
That's how.
changeover, and then Duck Station, you do the same thing. You click settings,
Yep, we
change port
select
2.
port two. Yep, yep. That's how much of a menace he can be. And there's one final way that you can deal with him, which is if you die 1 to 3 times and ring the Colonel and Naomi, they will also tell you to shoot his the gas masks on the statues because they will show his real face and he hates his face, so that will weaken him and you can start fighting him that way if there's some way you can't use the controller port.
Yep, no, exactly. There's just a lot of things in that fight. The speed run itself is predominantly, if you're going on it, you are using the first person view to abuse hit, seeing where he is and figuring out where he's gone, and then you shoot him as he drops. And then going through the phases, and then you get to a point later in it where you can try and skip one of the Meryl phases by grenading him down at one point.
Oh.
But I'll be honest, I haven't put it off myself yet. But yeah, you get to the point where it's like doing the chairs part. If you
Hmm.
do the grenades around that part, he should then skip one of the parts where Meryl restands, and you're having to go through that section again. So some time saved for a future run for myself.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know about that. That's cool. But
So
he's a very good fight. I think casually or speed run, even newer players today are blown away. Um, I think you'll never have another fight like Psychomantis that will have that iconic like fourth wall breaking side of things and it not come across as cringe ever again. I think that was a real like time in gaming that will never be replicated.
the Psycho Mantis, the Deadpool of Metal Gear Solid, breaking those
Yeah.
four walls. So I think we can agree S tier is definitely the place to be for him.
They tried in four, but they poorly replicated it in four because it's just like a little bit of a cheap illusion of Mantis while he's controlling the girl Mantis, and the fight is nowhere near as good. But at least it was them doing it, so I'll allow it.
Are we all in agreement on S tier? I know Reaps, you've already said it. I think I'm
Yeah,
fine with that.
I'm
Um,
fine with S tier. I would say I would heavily agree.
Next one is should be a short and sweet one, so it's the Hind. I guess similar aspect to like the tank and that. There's only going to be certain limitations as to what we can do with it. But it is off. Well, technically not our first interaction. It is our second interaction because you meet Liquid at the docks when you very first get into the game.
Behind D. Yeah.
Mhm. But
Colonel? What's a Russian gunship doing here?
exactly. But that is the Hind fight, which is. I mean, I don't know. From a casual aspect, let's go with that. How do you find
Cool.
the Hind fight?
Okay, cool factor. Again, I'm biased, man, but I think it's sick. I think it's the coolest helicopter fight in a game
I
because the
mean, it's a
music's
place where it
going, you're in
deserved
the
to be.
snow, you're on the roof of a building, you're playing Die Hard 1, and Hans Gruber is in the helicopter trying to kill you. It's really cool if you give it the gravitas that it's trying to ask for. Even having to take cover in the corner when he does his alarm sounding missile attacks, I really like it. It's liquid. It's a simple fight, duck and cover, shoot, bob and weave. But it's really cool. You're playing an action. You're playing a movie, an action movie. I really like it.
So I agree. I agree. I think the fight's very good for what you do because also from the aspect of speedrunning it as well, you can, if you are comfortable enough in it, you can spam rockets to a certain point where you are hitting multiple in a go. Now there is always going to be a little portion of iframes before it recovers and you can actually get a shot off. But if you've got that timing down correctly, you can do it without having to wait for the lock-ons constantly because everybody knows that noise from the stingers. It's locked on and they're like, hey, let it
Oh, I
fly.
love it.
Uh,
Yeah, it's such an addictive sound.
but like
Almost like Gundam.
you can obviously shoot before then, in preparation for it to save come off cooldown, ready for you to hit again. So if you get those down right, you can almost spam behind and bring it down a lot quicker than normal. So there is some technical aspects to it, and I say technical because it's not the easiest thing to pull off because you can get the time wrong for it. You can just whiff, and you can just get cooked. I think it's definitely more dominant the tank fight. There's definitely more story plot given to it because Liquid's turned up. A little bit of a back and forth there. I would be safe to say it's about an A, maybe B.
I There's one or other aspect that we didn't get to point out because you don't notice it in the speed run, but casually, and it's kind of cheeky. He does this thing in phase two where he tries to go lower under the building a little bit, and he stealths you, and he's like silent. hind mode, and it goes really quiet. You can see where he is, and then he comes back up, and the music flares again, and it's like it's kind of cool, but it's silly at the same time because how are you trying to hide in a hindy, bro? I can see it.
We don't have a map for no reason. No,
Mm.
I think that's fair for him. It definitely has some interesting qualities. That's the thing with majority of Metal Gear Solid One's bosses. They were all very interesting, all very unique. They all brought something different to the table. I never found myself thinking it was very samey. Even with Sniper Wolf 1, Sniper Wolf 2, which we'll come onto later, I didn't feel like I was just repeating the same fight, in a sense, because again, you approach it differently. Final say, so A or B? I want to give you a call here.
I want to say A, but I'm happy for you to put it in B because it's not terribly exciting, and I'm definitely clouded by my bias of how exciting the fight is. Just because I know it's just fucking firing rockets at a helicopter. It's been done a million times, but that one particularly with the characters involved and the scene that was set in the snow on the roof, I think it's cool. I would say A, but I'm happy with B.
All right, we're gonna go for A here for Excel because he's right up here. So we're giving it the A. We're give it the old A, not the D, just the A. All right, I want to move on to our next one here. Now I'm intrigued. Like, I haven't fought this guy casually in years. All right, so I've only done the speedrun aspect of this. I haven't fought this guy casually, so this is going to be a very different spectrum here because
No, it's not because I beat him in like 15 seconds with Nikita's the other day with
I
no
see
damage.
this. See that's a very different spectrum. That's completely different to how I want to do it.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, yeah. So you mean Vulcan Raven, right? We're talking about Raven. So with
We're on about
Vulcan
Raven.
Raven, the casual first player aspect is they would usually try and do claymores while running away from him. He destroys a lot of the arena, which is very good for the time, and he blocks off your pathing, which makes the fight harder as it goes on. He's firing his minigun at you, his Vulcan cannon, continually. And yeah, casuals will do a combination of rockets, maybe stingers, and claymore. I learned the old speedrun trick, which is stand round the corner from him in an L shape and Nikita him and stun lock him so that when he's recoiling from the first one, you fire the next one, and he just won't he'll miss shooting it, and then yeah, you can just stun lock and kill him. So I did him no damage in my recent playthrough, and I was like, nice.
Okay, no, that's fair. And for me, my most recent ones are obviously speedruns on very easy,
Yeah, you do
and
the modern strat too.
the way we do it is because we are playing in easy difficulty, we kind of go YOLO. We get a grenade, we run into his face, we've yeeted the grenade. We're gonna take a lot of damage whilst doing so, but we're gonna repeat just throwing grenades whilst in his face, and we're gonna keep tanking damage, and we're gonna just outlast him basically, and that's it. We just run into his face and just keep throwing grenades, and we just stood there. The Nikita is definitely a safer option, and I think it's used on the more higher difficulties as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but I imagine it would be because I don't think you going into some of the tougher ones, you'd be able to do the whole let's throw grenades and while standing there and taking damage from this big ass minigun or any grenade damage
No,
like that.
yeah, I think that's potentially like the strat that I do, the Nikita strat, maybe from normal or above. But it's something that I copied from a casual player who also occasionally does the odd speedrun strat that his chat tells him about. So it's
But
kind of where I know it. Yes.
in terms of Raven, though, I think it's an interesting fight. Because there's definitely a few ways you can approach it because you can do the
Approach it.
Nikita, you can do the grenades, you can also do C4 on the floor as well, get him to
Yeah,
walk over it,
C4, I
blow
forgot
it
about
up.
that. Yep.
You got all that kind of stuff.
And you get to learn about the ear pulling contest and the muck tuck. Where else would you learn about such interesting Alaskan facts, dude?
Exactly. In terms of story, he didn't add a lot. He told us a lot of things about him, and it was very
We
out there.
learned about Alaska and all sorts. Yeah.
But I think generally speaking, how you can because the fight is quite varied and how you can approach it, I do think it is a good one for the game. You can be punished quite easily because if you get caught by that minigun, you're getting flattened a lot of the time because the time it takes you to get back up and the aspects. Some of the pieces you're often getting back up into being shot by the minigun again, but unless you're close to a corner or are able to get around the corner in any shape or form, so you can be
And you
quite
do
easily punished.
and you do not have access to the body armor until the blast furnace, which is following this boss fight.
Exactly that. So I rate this one pretty highly.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's and cool factor. He's a mammoth of a man carrying a Vulcan cannon. That's most 14-year-olds think that's cool as fuck. So I have to agree. The inner 14-year-old still thinks a massive Vulcan cannon is mega cool, and the fact that you can carry it is insane. But yeah, I agree. A rank.
No, I think I think it takes over the hind as well because it does add. I mean, it's a big ass gun
More
with a
elements.
minigun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
it's a more interesting, diversive fight for sure. Um, Still exciting in its own right though, because it can be scary. Like you said, that minigun does a lot of damage, and if you're low on health or low on rations going into it, it's not easy. It can, like you said, can be punishing. Yeah.
100%, 100%. Now, one of the bigger ones we've got on the list here, Sniper Wolf 2 for MGS 1. And the reason I say that is because story-wise, it's pretty big. You're going from disc 1 as well to disc 2. So this is like you're finishing, like you're concluding the episode within the first section of Metal Gear Solid, going into disc 2. You know, the old days of changing those over. Even on the Master Collection as well, it goes through the little digital thing where it shows you the disc being changed as
Good
well.
night from Gordos
Yeah, and on
Games.
Metal Gear Solid 4, Otacon rings you and goes, Snake, we need to change the disc. And he goes, oh, hang on a minute. We're on PlayStation 3 now. We don't need to worry about that. It's Blu-ray. So it's part of the meme at this point, which I think is great.
100%. But Sniper Wolf 2 definitely, without a doubt, adds another element to it. Now, you are still predominantly sniping, I will just say that. You know, that doesn't change.
I
But
mean, we'll talk about that.
how you do it, so, okay, I want to talk about this from the speedrun side of things first of all. So we use a combination of a Stinger and a PSG. All right. The reason being for that is because you're covering a larger space and it's a little bit hard to see where the character is all the time. Alan, you have a good night to yourself. Thank
Yeah,
you
take
for
care,
tuning in,
Alan,
dude.
mate. Have a good one, dude. Thanks for being here.
So it's hard to naturally see where she is. Obviously, she's wearing the white suit, trying to blend into the snow and everything like that, and trying to make it more difficult overall for you. And you tend to see her by the time she's popped up and shot you straight in the eye, which we can take multiple shots in the eye, you know, because we're just built different. We're Solid Snake, right?
I think the arena is also a lot better because it's not just a narrow tunnel. There's a bit of width to it. She runs behind the trees, and she actually twists her body 180 degrees to try and snipe you, which is hilarious.
Yep, yep. So so what we do is we use this thing to locate where they are, and we'll send a shot. Obviously, if the shot lands and does some damage, great stuff. But it's more so to tell us exactly where Sniper Wolf is, and then we go from there to then continue to try and snipe. If you are lucky enough and you've got the shots down and you've managed to do it, you can just snipe her down and you just win that fight. But there are points where she gets away, and you have to go through the aspect again of then getting the Stinger back out to relocate her. So it's managing expectations on both parts. What about Kazli
Okay,
itself?
I thought I thought the strat with that was to like from the way I witnessed it, I assumed the strat was to damage with the stinger and lock her in place, but then also take an immediate snipe shot to get like a 2-for-1 out of it almost. I wasn't aware it was just to locate her more than anything. That's interesting to know. I didn't know that.
It's mainly to locate. If it lands and hits damage, then obviously you know we have to wait for it to get back up, and then we can continue to snipe all over again. But yeah, mainly we just do it to make sure we've got a position on it, just so we can snipe them down as best
Okay.
we can.
So
How's it different
on
casually?
So, well, casually, you are encouraged to do the sniper battle off with her with your pentaz and stuff. However, a lot of casual players I know, myself included, and I did this on my most recent playthrough, and I got the achievement on Duck Station for doing it with no damage, because I learned, and I reloaded after I learnt this to scumbag it. I learned that if you enter that fight and lie in the bottom right corner, you are behind the crest of a hill that she cannot snipe you, and you can Nikita her down for the entirety of her health bar, and it's free. From
All
that, you
right.
just send a Nicky, and you have to travel it up the little ramp because they have to go up with the terrain, and then you turn right and just lock onto her. She stood behind a tree trying to 180 and shoot you, and you just bonk her and repeat. It's pretty simple, easy, no damage, even on hard mode.
No, no, that's there. I mean, there's two different ways to approach a lot of these bosses, especially the ones that we find to be a little bit more higher up the tiering list. So you see that the
Yeah.
other ones, when there's little to do, they just don't stand out as much. S
And
tier
we
for
do it
both
the
final
same way.
story with
Like
the
the tank we would approach the same way, speedrun or casual, but sniper 2, you're going to do stinger and snipes. I'm going to lie in the bottom right corner because I'm going for my strat. So it's nice for me to have this conversation with you and have this back and forth, because your approach varies from mine, and I don't speedrun MGS1. So yeah, I only know the way I know how to do it, which I can, do most of the bosses pretty seamlessly, but not quick.
no, and that's
Um,
just it. That's the high difference in it. That's why the game itself is a great game casually, and it's also an interesting game with the speedrun because there's two very
yeah.
different ways in which you do it. Um, Reaps here, S tier for both fight and story with it would be better with better controls. 100%. Who knows?
Yeah,
MGS1 remake,
yeah,
please.
yeah. Just the addition of slightly more modern sniping would be a bit easier. It's just the controls were a little bit unwieldy, but what it was going for, like I see the vision, and the vision was clear.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Do we think S tier is Reaps right, or are we
I,
over exaggerating a little bit?
I mean, narratively, it has, "Can love bloom on a battlefield," which is an iconic line with the music. The best is yet to come. And she dies, and Otacon cries. It's a very sad scene. It's probably the most emotional charged in the game, and
Spoiler alerts,
even
folks.
makes
Just in case you haven't played it, it's been out for multiple years now. It's past the statute of limitations. We are going to spoil it for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes. Spoilers for a 27-year-old game. It's still one of the best game, and if you play it now, I shit you not, there are some aspects of it that you'll be surprised about that modern games don't have, and not exaggerating. It's really, really, really good. But yeah,
100%.
narratively, I don't know if I think S tier for her final ranking. I think there we might be in dispute. I think top of A. I think maybe above Raven, but not. I don't think in the same league as Ninja and Mantis personally, because there is only sort of the two approaches. Narratively, it is cool because of the sad Otacon thing, but oh, I don't know. I don't know. I
I,
mean, I love her. She's the sniper waifu, but oh, dramatic decision moving the Hind to B.
I don't think Hines sits in
Oh,
the same place.
okay.
Then
No, I think I could agree. I think I could agree. If sniper is A, Hind is B.
yeah, no, I think that's
Yeah.
fair. Hind doesn't deserve the same spot. It basically shoots with Stinger. There's no different way you do that.
I I openly said that my bias for how exciting the fight is would cloud my judgment there, because I just like it. The music, playing Duel, oh, it's so good. So, and it's the same boss fight music for every boss, so they're all good. But yeah. No,
All right,
I
we
agree here. I think this is spot on personally. I'm with you now. I'm with you 100% now.
so the next one's gonna be, I guess, gonna be the controversial one because I mean, it's Metal
God,
Gear
hopefully it ain't.
Rex. Metal Gear Rex. I mean,
S, fucking S, S, S. There's no fucking doubt. This is S tier narratively, S tier cool, S tier gameplay. It's the Rex, dude. It's cool as fuck.
okay. Now,
Like,
this is going to be
I'm
my
sorry, but
rebuttal.
that's me.
This is going to be my rebuttal. How do you do the fight then, Excel? Tell me the different ways we do it. What's casual?
You stinger the raid, you chaff, you stinger the raidome, you chaff, you stinger the raidome, and then you chaff, and then you stinger him. And then phase 2 is a bit different. Phase 2, I don't use any chaffs, and I run underneath his legs until he stops moving and shoot him in the underside of the jaw and repeat it. So that's my special, like, cheese strat for phase 2. But otherwise, yes, it doesn't have the approaches. I agree.
That
But
is
it's
my
so
only
cool. It's a
thing
big
that takes
fucking
it.
robot, and you're on foot. Oh, type.
It's ironic to see because like after some of the fights we've had leading up to this, it is giant mech boss. I 100% agree, and I
And it
like
is
mech,
the
but mech fights.
pinnacle of
It is Metal
the.
Gear
It's
Rex.
why
It's
you're
Metal Gear
here.
Solid.
Yeah,
I know.
it's Metal Gear. It can't be. It's the. They said the thing. Like,
But in terms of like how that fight portrays and is like the story, you're 100% right. S tier. We're at the point where we're finishing up the story. We're ironing things out here.
it's the big climax. Yeah.
But
There's
I
some
do think
bullshit
it's
with
an
it.
A.
There is some bullshit with the fight as well because you can die in the cutscene and like trade with him and stuff. It doesn't happen to me, but I've seen it happen to that first time player I was watching, and it happened to him like 3 times. That was just unfortunate, but yeah. Uh, I'd say, I mean, like I say, for me, it's not my tier list. I'm just guessing,
Oh no
but
no no.
me, yeah,
That's
personally, I think it's S tier because I think it's really cool and everything. But logically, it probably, yeah, on quality of the boss fight, it would only reach an A because there's not many different ways you can approach it. You really can't. You have to just do it the way you have to do it. You can't melee it. You can't do anything, right? So I agree there, but it's just narrative and cool factor that make it like peak there for me, like in that respect. 2 out of 3
oh
ain't bad, kind of thing.
100%. And I think, you know what? I think we're gonna go S tier for now. But if there's too much bias in this list, they may get demoted. This will be one of the first ones demoted, I think.
That's fair.
Honestly,
That's
think
fair.
about
Yeah,
how
yeah.
else would you
Moving
take
forward,
down
yeah.
Metal Gear? But that's just it. That Roops.
Yeah.
There's
I
limitations
mean,
with it. That's where the technical aspect comes in.
right now you could have done away where when it does a few step attacks that you have to try and get in between the steps and plant a C4 on its feet and try and bring it down that way. Like I'm saying this after playing Armored Core last night, and that's exactly what I had to do. So like things like that, they could have done something different, but I understand it was early days.
Phase two, I
And
don't know if you can
again,
snipe him. Maybe you could PSG one whilst his head's
I
out,
don't
Liquid's
think
head.
so.
I doubt you can, but I
I
mean, I
don't
doubt
know,
you'd
and I've
even want
never
to.
tried.
I
Nah,
doubt you'd
because
want.
the missiles and things he does and the lasers are quite tough. What I do on phase two is I use the mini map, run underneath him, and stand in between his back legs, far enough back that he won't laser me, but not far enough forward that he's like running around. And eventually he will come to a halt, and then I can shoot him from the underside of his jaw and repeat it. It's kind of the only way I know how to finish phase two, kind of chill, um, because you don't have like the easy shots on the radome anymore.
No, and that's it. Obviously from the speedrun space, it's very similar. Except we just don't chaff. We just
You just
stinger.
do it,
We
yeah.
we don't let any time for any mission between it. It's just stinger. And the second phase we do move slightly forward to avoid some pieces of it, and then we just sting him straight to the jaw
And I
over and
think
over again.
one of the older strats used to be Stinger running a little loop to avoid his machine gun Stinger, and they used to do it that way. That
Hmm.
was and then there's the one that you're on about now, the modern one where they do that leaning, that unequip, really fast shot strategy, right? Like a quick shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think S tier is fair for now. Depending on how the rest of the list goes, because we've got a few bosses here. So
Mm.
we'll mosey on because obviously otherwise we'll most likely be here for hours. Me and Excel could
Yeah,
probably talk about
sorry.
these
Yeah, it's
bosses
quite
for
easy to
no
deconstruct these. This could be a 2 hour video.
exactly. Um, the last one I think is pretty straightforward. I don't I think story wise it's just up there. All right, it's the final piece of the story, right? With Liquid at the boss fight on top of it, the little
Yeah,
fist
with
fight.
the depending on how so in the speed run, you will fail the torture intentionally and go Otacon ending, correct?
Yes, we don't save Meryl. We don't waste that
Right.
time.
So I always go Merrill ending because I'm playing casually. Why wouldn't I? Who cares about Otacon? He survives anyway. I've played Metal Gear 2. So in that case, part of the narrative impact and ramifications here is that Meryl could die and she's right there. Liquid's got her next to you at the fight. Is Otacon there in her place in the Otacon ending? I haven't played his one in
Yeah,
years. It's just a swap. Okay,
yeah,
okay, fair enough. Didn't know. All right, fair play. Okay, exactly the same.
yeah. Exactly the same. It's just literally a case of it's Otcon's driving instead.
Yeah, and I didn't know if he was still present at the side of the fight like that. So okay, that's fine.
So I mean, in terms of story, it's up there because we're ironing out the story. The fight itself goes in two ways. Obviously, just normal, just casual trading. Because it's just melee only, which is an interesting way to finish it up. And obviously adds to the stakes because you got the timer going as well alongside it, and you can lose because of the timer or just because you got absolutely bullied by him.
It's going to blow.
Exactly, and then you have also got the aspect of you can infinitely loop the punches if you do it in a particular manner. Never bought it off
Which
myself,
is
but it can be
it's
done.
more it's very difficult to achieve The rhythm part is fine. It's you have to throw him into the top right corner, and Snake has to be coming from the direction that you want to throw the enemy in. So you'd have to like, in my experience, run around to the top right corner, run downwards, and throw him back to where you just were, and then this enables the loop. But it's very hard to get. Casually, the best I can sort of recreate into that is a jab jab run around like a little loop that way, a physical loop. Jab jab run around his response. Jab jab run around his response. Or in the later phase when he starts to fight back, I can do jab jab duck and duck his 1-2 response and stand up and punish it and repeat. So I can I make my own little infinites casually.
Hmm.
But it can be a tough fight. It can be quite easy to lose and run out of time if you don't get a good like start on him when you haven't played in a minute. Like it'll take you, most casual players in my experience, it takes you a couple of goes just to kind of get back in the rhythm of it and be like, right, hang on a minute, let me kick this asshole off the side of this bus. Um, but yeah, cool factor. You're on top of the Metal Gear that's like kind of decrepit at this point.
Yep.
So
Yep.
narratively, you know, final
Is
boss, Liquid, really cool. Um, I almost want to like tag on the escape sequence to him as well because you have to finish him off with the machine gun in the Jeep.
you do have the auto scroller part that goes with it, and in this one, obviously, this
Yeah,
one you have to make sure it's not necessary. So,
it's
wrong
not free, is
terminology.
it?
There's,
You can
it's
die.
not complete. You can die. It's not completely an auto scroller because you need to make sure you're getting through the checkpoints and killing all the enemies there. Otherwise, you won't proceed onwards. Not like
And you
somewhere you
don't
just
have
carry on.
your stuff, so you haven't got your body armor or anything at this point on the exit. So you've got one ration, I believe,
Hmm.
normally.
Yeah, you can pick one on the way out.
Yeah,
Um, so between those two fights, there is definitely story aspect, technical aspect. I would say it's around the A marker. I don't
I
think
would
it quite
s-
reaches S, but
I would
I'm open
say
to it.
A, maybe even the highest A, because of the ramifications in the story. I think he's got to be cooler than Sniper Wolf in terms of what he means, and he's the final boss. You know, or is it? You know, maybe the Sniper Wolf fight is more exciting technically. It depends how you want to justify their final place, narratively or combat wise. Because combat is very restricted, but that's does that pass?
I think the narrative wins it for this part. Like the Sniper Wolf is a big peak point, but you have Mr. Houseman turns up in the codec, has a chat with us. We go through all those pieces there. A lot of the story unravels and gives us more context as to where we are, what we're doing, who Liquid is, what the aim of the game
He
is.
he also, in a cutscene that you would skip, explains before Rex in like a 5-minute cutscene about Les Enfants Terribles, how your clones are the big boss, how he has the recessive bad genes and Snake has the proper ones, which is actually not true. And well, it is, but he's not the inferior one that he's made out to be. So yeah, like I think narratively, like that whole sequence, it's the crux of the story, isn't it?
100%, 100%. So I think it's fair to go top of A.
Top of A
Um,
because of narrative pull. I agree. Okay, I could agree there because it is still really cool. However you cut it, it's still Snake taking out his evil brother at the end of the game. You know, like
yeah, no, 100%. That's MGS one. All right. Now there, this one we can probably digress less on. MGS one, unfortunately, folks, it did take longer to get through that,
MGS One
just
is
purely
too
because
easy to
MGS
talk
one.
about. Yeah, like I literally will have less to say about two, and I speed run that, and I we can talk about all the tech and whatever, sure, but it's like literally just do this and you win. There's not really a lot in it, so.
No, no, exactly. So we'll start off simple. As I said, the rest of these may be a little bit quicker. I mean, it seemed for me on three. But we'll cover them off. MGS one does unfortunately just get a little bit more time than the rest. That's just how it is, folks. Olga, D, overrated, overhyped. Parents
Conflict and
didn't like her.
Victory were her parents, dude.
The unit,
The unit
unit
is
was
her
wasted.
life. The unit. She has nothing else. They've shared everything, all the bad and all the good. Didn't you know that?
Look,
Um,
that bad of a character wants to become Grey Fox and still didn't do very well at that. I'm
Well,
joking.
yeah, true, but we don't need to talk about that in the first because you only have one fight with Olga, and it's with as Snake on the tanker. Um, Now, it's very limited because she is narratively she's pregnant at this point with Sunny. That's why, as well, Snake can only trank her. He can only trank her. He cannot, even if you cheat in another weapon, you can't actually murder her, of course. And
We don't
it
condone
is
it.
a very she, in terms of who she is in the story, I think it's important because her dad is the guy in charge of the GRU or the Spetsnaz. I'm my Russian bad guy syndicate knowledge is rusty, I'm afraid. But her dad, Sergei Gerlukovich, is a very important man in the Russian military, and he was the one, as we alluded to with Reaps earlier, he was the one who gifted Liquid and Ocelot the Hind. So he has narrative importance. So she does have a role to play, and she does have a big role later in the story, as we know from Arsenal Gear and everything. But boss fight alone, it is pretty mid. You just shoot her from cover. You can't melee. You can't do any throwables. She can throw grenades at you, uh, and that's that. Yeah, she's
I feel
cool.
it. I feel it falls into the similar aspects to Ocelot in terms of the fight, just because
Yeah,
there isn't
similar
much.
tactic.
You're running a very you're running side to in a box format. She still runs in a box format. You just have a bit more limitations as to how you can chase. So I think fight wise, it's minimal. Story wise, more notable, which is why I'd say B for it, if anything. Above Ocelot, above the Hind, original Sniper, and Tank and that, but not quite as much as the likes of Vulcan, Sniper Wolf 2, and Liquid. Don't think it quite gets there.
Yeah, see, this is hard to mingle in with MGS 1 because it's like, I think almost like Sniper 1 is way better than Olga 1. Like, really, in terms of narrative, and it's annoying, but it's more of a fun, it's like, I don't know, more of an intriguing boss fight, perhaps. But like, yeah, I think that's more fitting, to be honest. Narratively, she's important, but not that important. Not
Mm-hmm.
not
It's
really,
just
really. She
it's
sort
a
of is,
ten
but
minute part of the game. Technically, the tanker. It's like it's the
yeah.
part least. It's not least memorable because you're playing a snake and everyone enjoys that aspect of it.
It's
But
the most, yeah. Like, but you're right. Like, there's only two boss fights on the tanker, which is Olga and Guard Rush, which are both they take 30 seconds each on like any difficulty for the most part. So the strat's
yeah,
almost the same as well. So strats in the fight are she can go right side or left side. Left side can lead to a different type of like infinite at the back of the arena, but I prefer right side to get two body shots in order to put her at half HP before a cutscene. And then you just there's some RNG between her running between the back and front of the level, and you just headshot her to win.
I like to shoot the blanket and the tarp and the lights because I usually get
Hell
scuffed in
yeah,
fight
yeah.
because I like to
And
do all that stuff. It's great for me.
if she royally wastes your time, she runs left and she says, "Whoever you are, you're not stopping us," and you have to do all of that. Yeah, that casually, that's great as well. So we didn't get to that part because I almost like think because I speed run this game, but casually, there's a lot to the fight. You shoot the light out, the tarp and everything. The mechanics of the fight are pretty cool casually because it introduces those unique elements which no other boss really deals with, and I think it makes use of the tight arena well casually. But in a speed run, it sucks.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's a fair analogy for and a fair assessment. I think C is for what's brought to the table is
Yeah.
probably going to be fair. Um, and it's basically for Tango because Guard Rush, it is a part of it, but I don't we've not put it on there as a boss fight
I
because it's just a
wouldn't
few
bother
guards.
including it. No, I agree. I wouldn't even fuss about that either. It's just five dudes. No, it's four dudes and followed by three dudes. So it's seven dudes.
Yeah,
So
it's not
it's
quite
not even
five
a big
guys;
deal.
it's seven guys.
Yeah. So it's like
Um,
seven dudes blowing 11 dudes.
there's, and then after that, I mean, this one, I'm gonna because like there's an argument here to say that his section is more than just the boss fight you have with him because he has an entire section dedicated to addressing his bombs. Fat Man, right?
Yeah, but
There's
that's a gameplay element. That doesn't.
mm,
I would say that doesn't add to his boss fight, but he does have bombs in his boss fight, so you can keep him. You can keep
I
your train of thought going because
yeah
the gameplay element is in the fight too. So I wouldn't class the bomb defusal in the big shell as part of his boss fight, but the bomb defusal in his boss fight, I do of course count. Yeah, I think that's still worth talking about because it's casually and speedrun wise, I think it's quite a fun and good fight.
Yeah, and the only reason I mention and argue that point there is just because of it's like a pre-setup for how you deal with him. Because otherwise, normally if you walk into that fight, if you'd never gone through all the bomb scenarios in that beforehand, you'd have to learn on the spot there and then what to deal with, how to get through it. So it's a nice, the MGS2 does a nice way of setting the scene for you there. It's like, okay, this is what this guy's going to do.
Although
Get used to
you
it.
could easily switch that around, introduce the player to the coolant, and then Fat Man straight away fight the boss fight, then defuse all the bombs. That still,
Exactly.
I think that could have worked personally. Now you've mentioned it.
But they did it in a unique way. There was like, okay, well, we know what, we're going to let you get used to the bomb aspect. We're going to build up the tension. It's like, okay, this is going to keep going through all these things. You're going to have to go through all these sections. You're going to have to eventually get to the boss fight and then have to deal with whatever else has got to throw at you because clearly it's going to get worse, right?
How are you supposed to find their bombs casually? You have a sensor that Stillman gives you that we often turn off, that shows like a yellow fog on the minimap to show the rough area of where it is. And then when you're near it, you can obviously look for the flashing and you can kind of find it. I think the other sensor you get
It is a
also
sound.
beeps.
It's a
Yeah,
sound
beep, beep,
based
beep, beep,
one.
beep, beep, the sensor B, yeah. And it's
And
also worth pointing out, casually and in the speedrun, that every difficulty changes locations of the bombs where they are in the strut, or may have more bombs. So there's one out of bounds in a harder difficulty, for example, that you have to lean through the fence and spray it, but you may not think to look there because it's outside of the play area. It's on top of strut A, if you're curious.
yeah, no, I recall the one. Um, I'd say if you want to go based on Fat Man's fight, there's a couple of ways to approach it. All right, so if you want, just referring to some terms that we use in the speedrun, which is a cycle. So, like for example, one cycle. That would be the instance when we first see him and he doesn't go off on a kind of runaway or skate away because it's on roller skates, and then do his whole lardy dardy thing, then come back to us.
Yeah.
What we effectively do there is you stand there near to where the first bomb is when you first enter it. You start up your melee combo, which will be punch punch, and then you land the kick as he's going by to knock him to the floor, switch the trank, and then you want to ping four tranks to his head and take him out from there.
But
Uh,
the way that this works is that you headshot him once, then he has kind of iframes until the stars appear, then you headshot him again, and it's sort of like you have to kind of do often. In my experience, I have to two cycle that part of it because
I do.
he always
I've
has
never one
egregious
cycled him.
iframes.
So I've never one cycle. It's always been a two cycle, which is fine. But even then, if you don't use the trank as well, folks, you can use just the USP, and still two cycle as well. It generally
Yeah.
is quicker with a trank than just because it takes less shots overall. But you both work in that same fashion. But you're predominantly the fight is pretty similar either way you go about it. It's not technically the most difficult. It is interesting. I definitely say it holds some interesting points trying to manage
There's a
the bombs as well as
non-lethal
that.
there if you wanted to show that melee combo. Because we actually use an audio cue from his third skate, and he goes at the start. We start meleeing after the third skate, and then that should time it so the spin kick knocks him over. Um, it's pretty fun. And casually, a lot of people like to do similar to what we said for Vulcan Raven. I've heard casual players using like claymores and things to offset his movement, which I think is really good. Yeah, you can just leave it muted. It's fine.
I was going
But then
to.
here, and then you'll see headshot. Wait for the stars. Headshot. He's already at 50%. Then I'll do the bomb here. And then the way I do this is I do this bomb, and then I do the second bomb, and then I kill him. While I'm defusing the second bomb, he usually tries to accost me, to which then he's right there in my clutches. Boom, 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 and he's down. And then finish the shots. And
Exactly
that's
that.
my non-lethal Fat Man.
And retrospectively, like I said, there's a couple ways you can approach that. Because I'm about to hit Gordo with a copyright claim. Go for it. Hit me with it.
No, all, all,
Um,
all of my clips are allowed to be used in this here feature broadcast.
I wasn't going to
It's
ask him
fine.
if they weren't.
Yeah, he wouldn't have cared anyway. I could have showed the Olga, but that's fine. And yeah, I don't know if I've got any. I haven't really got any other good clips that are useful for this. Maybe Vamp, but
No, that's fine. I can pull up a vamp, which I will
Yeah,
do so just to show.
yeah, yeah.
I think for Fat Man side of things, I'd say it's a strong B. It's definitely better than Hind and
Yeah,
Ocelot.
I think it's exciting casually. It has ramifications because if you take too long, the bombs he sets more bombs. Is more he's like, oh, that's it, more bombs, and he does it again. So it and it can be tight if if you don't defuse them quick enough. You can blow up. Like it can be, it can be for a first time player, it can be quite tough. So I think it's a good fight. B
B
for
for bomb.
bomb. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I agree with it. I think there's multiple ways to play it. I think it's kind of fun. It's a bit stupid. He's like I heard this recently. Somebody said he was like a Dead Rising boss, which I thought I agree with that. He's like
yeah.
skating around, drinking and stuff. But
No, I agree with that. No, he does have he's an unusual aspect to it, especially being your let's say your first boss when you get onto the plant, should I say? Not for tanker, but for plant.
well, I mean, Fortune is before him, but okay.
It's not a boss.
Well, it is, and there is techniques to it, and she is there. I can see her. She's hot. She's right there. I see her on the tier list at the bottom.
So what
Baby
we're gonna
girl, there she
we're
is.
gonna go with Fat Man and B, and we'll cover off Fortune, who was incorrect in the wrong space. Um, not a boss. It is a cutscene.
It's an auto scroller boss, but there are things to it. You can lose time to it. Like if you fuck around, like you can speed up the sequence by getting her to blow up the room correctly because there's a set of barrels and boxes that we need her to target and the forklift. So we start off the fight by doing pressing right, jabbing 3 times, crouching, and then pressing up, and this will manipulate her to target the forklift. You wait for her to destroy that, and then you have to sequentially move through the room to get her to snipe particular boxes, barrels, and this turns the fight from a it's the difference between a 120 or a 2 minute fight. All you can do otherwise is lose time on it, basically. It's still an auto scroller, but an auto scroller that can fuck you.
I think in terms of what it adds, techniques wise nothing. Like I said, it is also an all scroller. There are the fashions to speed up the fight. Yes, I'm just going to agree there.
Yeah, that's only in a speed run
Story
though.
wise,
Casually, you don't know that, but yeah.
story wise,
Shut up,
mm,
Stephen. You're not here. All right. I got dragged into this last moment. I can't English very well right now. I'm trying my best.
sequentially. Yeah, no, I don't think story wise offers much either. At that point, nothing drastic. I'm trying to remember casually.
Well, casually, the first playthrough could be exciting because you can't damage her, and you'll be like, "What the hell?" And you've already seen this in cutscenes. The bullets go around her, right? Because she's Lady Luck, and she has low HP, and you've got some weaponry at this point, but you can't do anything to her. So it's a bit like, "What the hell do I do? How do I win this?" And she's just got Metal Gear Rex's railgun that she's blasting you with. Not exactly his, but a looky likey, and it's yeah, like I think it's okay. It's carried a lot by the fact that the song "Dead Cell" is the music for it, which is exciting in all of the boss fights. Um, but it's definitely a D.
Yeah,
Like you can't
I
approach it
can't.
in any other way. You can't do anything else to her. You can't hurt her. You can interestingly cheese it a little bit with a cardboard box because you can crouch run, so you can have better movement while having better cover on higher difficulties for no damage. But otherwise, yeah, it ain't all that.
All right, next one. I'll show a clip to go with this one. This is Vamp. Now I am gonna show the thing for it first of all. So we're just gonna head over to here. Find Metal Gear Solid 2.
I was going to say I could have just chucked you my clip if you needed one, but
That's all
I
right.
got one the other day.
I got one here. So we're including Vamp 1 and Vamp 2 together because Vamp 2 is, just to clarify, is not.
Vamp 2 is 2 headshots
This,
with a sniper rifle that you're forced to use, and there's no other way to approach it. It's a scripted hostage sequence where he's holding Emma, and you just have to kill him. It's not even a boss fight. It's called Vamp 2. Most speedrunners just drag you just move a little bit left and mash square, and he dies. Even I take a bit more precaution to zoom in, but still. You could show a
It's
high
but
difficulty.
fuck, it was pretty close
Doesn't matter.
by. God damn, I
So this is Vamp Mod, folks. And
This might no. This
we do
is
this across all.
this is going to be
This is
different.
fucking
This
pod racing.
might not be the Rockets.
Yeah, it looks
man.
good.
This
No,
might
it's
be
still-
one of the
Looks in
loop
good
pod
condition
racing.
too.
Yeah.
Did you-
Okay, no, all right. Fair
Did you keep any of your accessories, like a controller?
I did, yeah. I kept them all pretty much.
I'm
Not
mashing
much
right
we
now
do.
and
As you,
it's
can
working.
as you can see here with
when I
this,
said
when
kept
we
them
go
all, I
through the
kept the
boss
controller,
fight,
yeah.
this is the same across the other difficulties
I'm
as
surprised
well.
the guy didn't want
But
a
obviously, a
controller.
European Extreme, it takes more to do
No, I
it.
had
You
two.
have
I had
to
two
hold that
controllers.
loop for
I had
longer.
one DualShock,
So
one
what you're looking
six-axis.
to
I gave
do
him the
is
six-axis, so I could use the
basically
DualShock.
Oh,
yeet stingers
good call.
not on him but nearby to him, and repeatedly do that and staggering his health down as you go along. Doing it too erratically, for me personally, hasn't always worked because it's just been a case of some will just whiff and you'll lose it. But just having that very, very small intermittent shot will then keep it so he just loses health and he doesn't go under the water, jump onto the ceiling, do all the 12 and dances, and basically just waste time overall.
Did you also show a very easy and a master collection? Because one thing I'd like to add is that with a lot of these fights, especially Vamp, I would say it's the biggest thing to mention is that the platform you play on changes the fight. You'll notice the one Gordo was showing just then was from D-Lines on the PlayStation 3. Now this has it's 30 FPS and has a lot of slowdown. And as you can see here in 60 FPS, on a very easy, the strat is the same, but just imagine this was on European Extreme, it would just take more shots. But the concept is the same, as Gordo already alluded to, about having a rhythmic timing with it, with the stinger shots. And the platform changes the fight. Modern console, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he's dead. On older consoles, you have to time it when the HP drain is halfway down. So there's a lot. It's harder to do on older hardware. There's quite a bit more timing to it. So yeah, it's just worth mentioning that as well, just for those that may not be aware.
And
It's your Vamp too.
exactly, and I've showed all the clips. Obviously, whilst Excel was explained there, that is your confinements to Vamp. It is a learning curve you have to go through because if you don't get the text down for it, that fight just takes a lot longer than it would need to normally, because he will go under the water, he will go on the ceilings, he will twirl, he will have iframes, he will just be annoying.
Casually, he jumps up on the catwalks. He will throw different types of daggers at you, including a red one, which freezes you to the ground. Raiden then says, "My body," and you can't move. And he locks you in place. And while you're locked in place, he throws triple daggers at you, which do quite a lot of damage. And lastly, in a speedrun capacity, there's also a non-lethal strat where you hang into the water, wait for him to walk towards you and swing his knife or something, and then you climb up behind him, and then you jab him, and you manipulate him into constantly doing the knife slash. You just kind of walk through him, jab him again, walk through him, jab him again. I've only seen it done a couple of times, but it's like kind of a high level thing, but it's worth mentioning as well that exists.
100%. For me, I think Vamp's up there as one. I mean, there are ways to you deal with it differently, because if you don't do the speed run, which is the stinger, you can do that fight in multiple ways. Like you can take in the grenade launcher. You can
grenade
try and down
into the thing. M16 works on him quite well, just to spray him down. I used to do that.
Yeah, so you can approach this guy in multiple ways, and I think out of the bosses for MGS2, and this may sound harsh to the game at all, Vamp was probably one of the coolest.
I don't agree. I think he was a spinny Romanian dude that, like, yeah, he was okay, but just like he's called Vamp, but he's not a vampire. It's because he's bisexual. Like what? And like he it took him like 2 games to die. I think he overstayed his welcome. Personally, I don't think he was cool enough to be around in another fucking game as well, as much as he was, and be as much of a problem as he was. He's not a snake enough to do that. Like Liquid or someone, fair enough, but Vamp, come on, bro, get out of here, Samurai Jack voiced bitch.
I get that, but if you go against the rest of the cast for MGS2, and this is not a hate on the game, I love the game.
Batman, yeah,
Fortune, who's like, I can't be killed. Oh, let me just turn off your shield.
I can like parrot one of my favorite streamers, Aris here, because like he says, compared to Foxhound, Dead Cell are all like chumps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, Fat Man's on his roller skates and his wine glass, Vamp spinning around, Fortune, yeah, exactly. They're just nowhere near as cool as the OGs were. As you can
Or
tell
even
by the
just
length of
the
time we're talking about them.
exactly, or even the Cobras as we get to in three. There's just they
Yeah,
don't stack up enough.
I
That's
agree.
that problem there. So I mean, I do think like for the aspect of what he brought in the fight, because out of anybody, he was the one you could approach in multiple ways from a casual aspect more than anything. Speed run,
Yeah, yeah.
you go with one way, and that's if you don't get it, you kind of cooked a little bit. So
Narratively, he adds mystery because he was when you first see him, you're like, well, he's like magic. He can spin around. He can avoid gunshots. You don't know what's going on just now.
you're like, is he a vampire? What is he?
Yeah, like, and he's like, huh, huh, and dashes across all the girders. So yeah, fair play. Like, he's kind of cool initially, I guess, because I'm 27 years into, or however long it is now, 25 years into being around him. That I guess it's just lost a bit of its flavor at this point.
Oh, I just think the rest of the cast doesn't really think it. Like I know we're gonna get to Solidus at some point, but they even
He ain't that cool either.
he's
Spoilers.
questionable. I mean, just like he's just not. Like that's the only thing with MGS2 is that the bosses in it in comparison to one were not as overly creative. You didn't have things like Mantis. You didn't have the aspects of like going against big old Vulcan. The sniping section was mainly an auto scroller, which was Vamp 2, and
Yeah.
it was a one shot to finish it. So
And it's supposed to set Raiden up to relive the events of Shadow Moses to become the next Solid Snake. But like as you just mentioned, no Mantis, no real sniper duel. It's only a half-assed effort, really. It's not quite living the same standards, is it?
nope, nope. So I think highest they're gonna get for him is B. I think he's above Batman. I'd be
Yeah, okay. I mean, he runs on water and shit, but that's either cool or cringe, depending on what side of the fence you are.
he's an overweight guy in rollerblades.
I mean, that's
That's
quite grounded in reality, though. Like his.
yeah.
So Fat Man, yeah, he's a bit ridiculous, but his story, where him and Stillman have a history
Stillman,
and everything,
the
and they trained
contest.
him, and yeah, like I think narratively, again, Fat Man has some good, if you excuse the pun, has some weight to him, but because of the relevance of the Big Shell and Stillman and the bombs and everything, but like in terms of like cool factor just from the character, Vamp is cooler, yeah.
And we lead on
Like,
to the part where we meet Emma, Otacon sister, and all that, and open up more of the story plot
E.
around there. E.
And about how Otacon screwed his own stepmom, yeah.
Basically. I think it's just higher than Fat Man. I think that's a fair space. I couldn't put it any
Yeah,
higher than that realistically. I don't see many of the MGS2 probably going higher than that.
no, they're not. They're not. Unfortunately, not that great. There's one, the next one, the next one that we can talk about. Yeah, then actually the
Just
next
there.
two I think are exciting. I like the next two boss fights.
I mean,
T for Harrier, really? Okay, okay. I would say,
technical wise, it's probably one of the most technical fights you get in MGS2.
yeah. I think even casually, it probably can be quite tough because eventually he can burn you and stuff, and you have to go up and down the stairs and all sorts. Like it can go, it'd be a slog casually, especially on high difficulties. Is you can't approach it in any different way other than Stinger, which sucks. But you are fighting a fucking Harrier jump jet, um, which is pretty exciting. Vamp and Solidus are piloting it, so it's yeah.
I'd say high B. Realistically, folks, so just as we won't digress too much into it, but like the Harrier has multiple strats and how you deal with it. For example, just to mention a few, you have the 5 and 1, and then 4 and 2. I believe off the top of my head. So the 5 and 1 effectively is where we want to send in the very first opening scene when you have the Harrier pop up. You want to send three rockets, then one just above you, then one trajectory as it's flying just over you, and you want to land all 5 shots. So that retrospectively later on, you will then just land one shot after he goes to drop some
When he does
rockets
die
on you.
shots.
Yeah, and then that's that. That's the 5 and 1.
And then
That's the most pinnacle way of doing it, and it is not
in
easy.
my in my most recent 5th place run that I did last week for Glitchless, I wasn't able to achieve the 5 and 1, but there's another version you can do because after 3 hits on very easy, we're talking about the very easy difficulty as well, in case that isn't clear. On 3 hits on very easy, he goes into die shots mode, which if you hit the first 3 immediately and then don't finish him, he's doing die shots, and if he eludes your next or evades, sorry, your next few missiles, you're going to be in strafe phase where he's doing the rockets. So the other strat I was taught is if you're newer, you can also hit the left wing with 2 to then make him go out wide with a machine gun, and then you can get another 2 when he's approaching, 1 in the back. You've landed your 5 at this point, and then he's going to do die shots, and it's the same format but a slower, more beginner way to achieve the same thing. It loses about 20 seconds compared to your one, but it's more approachable for a newer player, because otherwise you're going to hit 3 or 4 immediately, get him into die shots, and then it's very hard to finish him. So
I think technical wise, I do think we put it above the rest. I think B. I think just
it's the hardest fight
it's
in the
not,
game.
It's story wise. I don't. It's just yeah.
Narratively, it means nothing. It's just Solidus.
bit
We
by
don't
Metal
really.
Gear. If I remember rightly, Harry gets bit by a Metal Gear Ray. Is that? Or is that or something else?
It gets collected by Ray at the end, as if to sort of get out of there.
Trying to remember that casually.
Yeah. You're right, though. Yeah.
One aspect of it. And then you got Metal Gear Rays. Metal Gear Ray fight. Story wise, it's opened up quite a bit because obviously we're getting to the peak point of it. It started to let us more into the plots of 2.
We've learned about the kernel AI. Yeah.
Technical wise, there is the fact of knowing if you hit one of the Metal Gear Rays in the mouth when it's got its mouth open, you'll do more damage to it. That's I think the biggest fundamental thing in there. Any other things that are worth noting besides hit it in the mouth and kill it quick?
The loop, which is on the higher difficulty. So, we're talking about very easy specifically, which is there's only 3 rays. On higher difficulties, like normal or above, there are 25 plus rays that you have to be stuck in combat with, and it can be quite tough. The loop that they refer to in that fight is, I believe, hitting a bounce between knee, head, knee, head, knee, head as the next ray comes in. And I've seen it by Tyler 2022 on GDQ that time from years ago. I think it's a cool fight. I think casually it's cool. It's quite tough fighting all these rays, and you think, God, is it over yet? And they're all their name bars come up, and they're all individual. Narratively, you've just been told about the Solid Snake simulation, the S3 program. Solidus is narrating it, calling you Jack the Ripper before the fight starts. It plays father and son, which is the second best, maybe the best boss fight music in the game. I think I kind of agree with your placement as well here. I think cool factor, I think it's cooler than the Harrier. I think for cool factor, you're fighting all these big fucking Metal Gears. It's a bit like I said with Rex. It's quite an intense one of the final battles. In the speed run on very easy, it's a nothing. It's a cutscene. And the Harrier's harder, so I can see why your placement is the way it is.
Yeah, no, I think that would be the fairest assumption for it. I mean, if we go based on the hard difficulties, it definitely jumps up a bit because there's a lot more to manage, more so than the Harrier aspect. But even the Harrier then goes up a bit because the amount of damage you're taking throughout it, and Harrier have little capacity to loop anything besides just get your shots off as quick as possible. But even then, you're having to do more damage, so it's not as viable.
With the higher difficulties adding to the Ray fight, I can't determine, because I don't play the higher difficulties that much outside of the odd casual run every 20 years. I can't determine if that would make the tier list placement higher or lower, because it might make it more annoying on the higher difficulties. Like, it's probably pretty tough. So.
No, I agree with that. I agree. I think so. I think the song at B. So, common theme here, MGS2 is peaking at B. And this one's
no S tier contenders. Yeah, shocking. Yeah,
this one's going to be no difference. I can't put any higher. The fight's just not even casually. It's not even that great. It is probably a poor form in it.
I would say narratively, it's probably an A, or it can be. Its relevance to Raiden, Jack the Ripper, Solidus, and everything. It's only just on the story side of things. Combat-wise, it's okay. I think you're limited in just the HF blade. I don't know if you can actually do anything. I mean, in the speedrun, we only do the HF blade, so I don't know if you can even fire guns at him anymore.
No, it's just blade. If I remember rightly, I think it's literally just blade. Or I've never seen or tried to use anything different.
I believe it's just that too. It's okay because you're fighting on top of Federal Hall, and like again, narratively, it's really cool, really. But the execution of it, I think, is a bit lackluster. Even on high difficulties, even on the first playthrough, it's very anticlimactic when you finish him. When you get that final hit in, it just kind of the game like freezes a little bit, and then it flashes to the cutscene. It's underwhelming. And in the speed run, you just hit him a couple of times, knock him over, run away, dash in, knock him over, run away, block the next couple of hits, punish it, block the next couple of hits, punish it. That's it. So
I'm just making a few changes here because I feel like there's we're a bit bulky in the B. I think Solidus is story wise better than Vamp and Fat Man for where he's at and what we've got to this point because he's our final boss. I think the sword fight is cool, has that aspect. It's like, okay, we haven't done this yet in Metal Gear Solid. We've not had a sword fight yet. Awesome, let's do this.
Yep, agreed.
Is it a great fight? No, because the sword fight could have been a lot more interesting. On hard difficulties, it may well be a lot more interesting, and I'd be inclined to see what it looks like. But I mean,
still seems very anticlimactic the way it finishes. But yeah,
100%. Let's just have a quick. It's like 1 minute 51 for a fight.
Yeah, I'm interested to see a higher difficulty one because I've not seen one in a while. Wow, okay, so it might be a bit more than we know, but I wouldn't imagine 30 seconds of this.
The first notable thing is and they are moving by real time sound.
The first notable thing is the 3-4 video. Maybe do that.
Okay, I'm gonna skip this forward a little bit.
Oh, they're doing the corner loop. Okay, cool. I've seen that. So corner looping him for the first half. A bit like a Sekiro owl boss.
And then same again.
He interrupted it though. It looks like he interrupted the dash rather than block punished it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Good work, Jack.
So it's not like slash and then a punch, or slash punch then a slash. There's definitely a punch in the middle there.
Yeah. It's to like jab him out and reset his animation, I guess, so he can't mash. It's quite interesting. Yeah, this is definitely a lot more technical than what we have to do.
100%. I think just based on
Still
that,
not a lot to it though.
no, there's definitely not more to it. I don't think there's any more to manage than the Metal Gear raids. Having 25 raids and having to keep them looped is definitely a lot more than.
That's going to be tougher. Yeah, I think Solidus could be pretty manageable.
Yeah, so I think that's fair. I have bumped Ocelot down because in terms of what he brings, his fight is very linear. Is where he is in the story, where he is a big iconic character, but we know.
Can you scroll up so the viewer can see the S tier?
I can definitely do that. I can scroll down to him. I'm joking. I'll go back up.
Nice one.
That's MGS 2 so far. So far, no real contenders outside of the B ranking. They peaked. That is literally where they're all mainly sitting. And to be fair, after this next one, they could drop further because Foxhound was big, Dead Cell was not so big, Cobra's definitely big.
Cobras, they're goofy, but they're also kind of cool, and they're very unique. They have powers and things a bit more so than they're all on the they're a bit more closer to the level of Mantis than like Dead Cell were for sure.
I mean,
They're all phonies because Fortune has the powers because of the tool in the gun. Vamp has powers because of nanomachines. Fat Man has bombs. The Harrier is an airship. And Solidus nerfs himself by removing his cool implant arms and fights without them and then gets owned. Like the jobber he is. So, what more can you say?
I mean, first one the bat, I think we have as S tier before you without even talking about it. Just meow away, right?
Wow.
I mean, young Ocelot. I mean, the picture doesn't get any favors. Apparently, the picture I put on here, he's just got no head. All right, but it's just young Ocelot. All right.
You should have got one mid meow where his head's moving to the side. Meow.
We'll get something for that one. But Ocelot, I think, throughout of Metal Gear Solid 3, not just his fight overall, but he adds an awful lot. In his fight, he comes into it, and you see a different perspective from him. Because at this point here, we were imagining you played Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and you have an idea of who Ocelot is. So to go to 3
one and 2, yeah. Sorry, you said 3 as well in your.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah, 1, 2, and then you'll play in 3 is what I meant. So you have an understanding of what the older Ocelot's brought to it, what kind of things he's been up to, how involved he is, and to see the youngster in his kind of, I'm going to say rookie state, because he is at this point. He is a rookie. He's got some flashy moves, 100%. He's always had an adaptability with guns. You see him showing off for the most point. He's very animated individual.
He's a Western.
Wrong. Like, yeah, I mean, those hand gestures in some points is very, very questionable. I don't even know what he wants to do with all this pointing of the fingers and shaking his guns around. Like, okay, dude, no, you need to just chill a little bit. But character-wise, story-wise,
I'm just gonna go and resub to a streamer real quick because I need to post the relevant emote in the chat of Ocelot. Hang on.
I don't think S tier. I would like to say S tier for Ocelot. I do think he's a cool boss in that, but for when you get to him in the boss fight, it's pretty simple and simplistic in it. And and how we approach it in the speedrun is we shoot, stun, shoot, stun, shoot, stun. That's effectively it. So we effectively keep it in that loop there, and that should be it. And casually, I don't think there's much different in there. I mean, you might just shoot him as he runs around instead. But yeah, he's just he's a pretty simple one. But his story is only just started at this point. So at this point, he's not changed much for us narratively. So I would still say he outdoes MGS 2 and where he's at.
I just wanted to add as well, casually, you can also shoot the nests down, the beehives or the hornet nests.
I remember doing that too many times.
I do. I like to do that because it gives you an opening on him. But you've got the canyon separating you, so you're limited in the dueling options. But he wants it
similar to like Olga with the aspect of being stuck further away.
And also similarly, because of a paradox, you can't kill him, and there's a special, a fun Easter egg time paradox when you have him unconscious earlier on. But
I don't think he beats. How are we doing, Simon? I don't think he beats you. In all fairness, if
I don't know if I think that this Ocelot fight is cooler than the other Ocelot, than MGS1 Ocelot.
No, I was thinking about putting him next to Olga because they're basically the same kind of fight, except for you have like Bee's Nest to hit.
Like, narratively, he's S tier because he's the most important character in the story that isn't Snake, bar none, and Zero. And, like, his whole thing is that he was actually Adam out of the Adam and Eve is the spy. So he was your contact the entire time, and the bullet that he has to kill you with is a blank because he's a bitch, and he has to make everyone believe that he's trying to kill you. So, like, that's, like, the whole source, which is really cool. But in terms, like you said, in the boss fight, it's the same as Olga. There are limited options to approach it, and unfortunately, you don't really get to fight him again, so...
I'd say he just slightly beats Olga, and that's only because of the Bee's Nest.
Yeah, the added elements, like... she has the light and the tarp, he has the nests. I feel like they're basically equals.
I just think his story
he's
wise,
complex and she's
he adds a
entry.
lot, just that a little bit more than she does.
Yes. Yeah, narratively, it definitely does. Yeah, Simon, they didn't do.
Pain.
The
Now, Pain,
pain.
I think Pain was an interesting fight, like because there are ways to deal with it, and it's a pain because besides the pun in his name, he puts his B armor on as he goes. So, from the speedrun aspect,
Sorry to interrupt. While you cover the pain, I'm going to just dip out and go make another drink. But I will just leave you with the aspect of casually, there's really not a lot to it. You stay underwater or you're not underwater and you shoot him. There ain't that much to it. So I don't know many other ways to approach him. Like you got your stuns and stuff, but there's not a lot you can do really.
so I'll continue on here, folks. Excel's gonna get out of
Yeah,
brew,
you
and when he
please
comes back,
explain
he
the
can then
speed
correct he can then correct anything that we place that he doesn't agree with as well. We'll
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
it's not gonna be
go
long.
through
I'm gonna
those.
just be a couple of minutes. So
No worries, mate.
use me real quick, BRB.
All right, so the pain itself, when we do the speedrun strat for it, so going on base are very easy. We use the trank gun, the easy gun to shoot him in the head 3 times. He will then get his B armor on, which you cannot not then shoot him. So what we need to do then is throw a stun at him, shoot him, and then it will go to phase 2. Phase 2, we open with a stun to get his B armor off him. We jump in the water because he's going to send things to hit us, which if we're in the water won't do so. And then we shoot him 3 times then, and that's it. But there's ways for that fight to go wrong. That's obviously the speed aspect of things, and there's, like Excel said, there's points where you go under the water trying to avoid things, and it's just points where you just get owned by him a little bit. I would think retrospectively, I think he sits around here. Here actually, because he is still more detailed than these. The end, I'm gonna put my first one into A. The end is an interesting fight. Now, for those who because there's multiple ways to deal with it. One is you can do a whole fast travel time by changing the clock on your console and moving it forward. He just dies. The other is by actually outright having so if you go based on the HD edition, what you do is you throw stuns across to him, and we could debate him into S. We throw stuns at him, then we trank him in the head, and we basically just repeat and try and do that. And then if you go on Delta edition, the one I've done most recently is where we look for the glare of the sniper, shoot him once, hide behind a tree, pop out, shoot him twice, hide behind a tree, then get ourselves trapped, prompt him to come back, and then shoot him again. So there's a lot of technical ways, and obviously that's only possible if you've damaged him at the port earlier on. So you know what? I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to put him up here. They want to do this. Excel can obviously have it. See when he comes back. The fear, I am just going to say there isn't much to it here. Shoot him down. Effectively, the fear hops around the trees. If you're lucky, he stays in a particular side of it, and you just kind of mow him down. Like if you've got the painter, if you've played through it before. In the HD edition, you can use the aspect to use the fake death pill. Wake up, stun him, and then just shoot him down. So there is another aspect where he's there. I'll probably put him. I still think he beats. I think that's what it looks like there. Sorrow, I don't. I'm going to put in the same position as Fortune, just because the aspect of what they bring. Narratively, there's a bit of piece work there, but it's just an auto scroll at that point. Is there an F tier? There is not an F tier. We've just gone to S, A, B, C, and D. Vorgan's fight, I think it outdoes the likes of. So Vorgan, we go through the aspects of using CQC for the most part, and depending on which way you do it. So like, the reason I find this one interesting, I know, right? The reason I find this one so interesting is because Vorgan himself, if you wear Raiden's in it, so Raiden's in the game, but it's not Raiden, it's a person called Raiden Novich or something like If you wear his mask, it will be the case of he will be like, because he has a thing for you, and then you basically snipe him in the head in both phases. That's it. If you're there are other meme runs where we're not able to wear that mask and we have to do other things, so we can't do that. So all we do is we run up to him CQC, and then we drop him to the floor and snipe him. And I believe that's the same for the other one as well. But it's an interesting aspect if you manage through the CQC as well to try and put them on the floor, because you can't shoot him directly because he has got a shield up. If you're doing it casually, you may go through the point as well as you try and shoot him as his back's turned, so when you're going to charge up off the electrics. So I think there's a good amount of things to do in that fight there. Shagahad, I would go is more. I'd say can be more technical than the Harrier, but is it an interesting fight? No, exactly. There's a big auto scroller part attached to this. The boss fight kind of deems around looping the shots. Like on the first part, when you face the Shagahad, you want to shoot the left tread, circle around to it, get a shot off, shoot the right tread, shoot it again, shoot the left tread, shoot it again. Does that ever happen? Not for me, it didn't, because we always either miss the first shot or it's just like we drove around there too slowly. And the second phase, we want to snipe them, keep them in space, shoot the tread, snipe, in rinse, repeat. So, but pulling those things off is the tricky part, more so than anything. And I don't even need to discuss this one. I don't think you can't argue that. I think, in terms of the fight itself, the story aspect, the narration, it's great. And there are different ways you can approach it as well, like the aspect of the stun grenades. So what we do in the speedrun is we win the CQC, floor them, shoot them twice with an easy gun, throw a stun, turn around so we don't get blinded by a stun, to the easy gun again, then stun, and repeat this up until you win. That's on very easy overall. Otherwise you get the aspects where you're going tit for tat on the CQC with them if you're doing it casually, trying to shoot them down with whatever weapons you've got, and yeah, it's a very memorable fight, more so than anything. Is there anything on there that people wouldn't agree with? I think it's fair to say MGS3 stepped up the mark in terms of what it did. But I think MGS1 still had some of the more memorable bosses. I think that would be it for me. D is just reserved for auto scrollers at this point. But I think Boss, Mantis, The End, Grey Fox, and Metal Gear Rex just are a strong S tier.
All right, I'm back. I see I missed all of 3 in the 2 minutes I was away. Apparently, I was probably way longer than that, but
you were definitely way longer than that. Retrospectively, so I'll catch you up. Pain, I've got it B. I think story-wise, it didn't add a lot. It was it was one of your first introduction to Cobras, because like before that was just Ocelot. We met Boss in that, but technically your first fight with Powers. The fight had some technical aspects to it, which made it a little bit more than the likes of Vamp and Fatman, just because managing the bees, which you can do by stuns and sniping, hopping in the water and that kind of stuff. But
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first boss fight that you could do anything underwater. Really? Because you couldn't really fight anyone else underwater. Yeah. or at least use it as cover in the fight, which you can't do against anyone else. So uniqueness, it's got it there a little bit. New mechanics and such. The bees add a new element. The stink bombs, agreed. Yep. But still very limited though, as we alluded to earlier.
So yeah, I've gone for B. If there's any movement there, just let me know as you go.
No, I think I agree with that as well. Yeah, he's not too strong, but man, I don't know if it's hard when we have them. If we were doing them individually per game, I think it would be fluid. But seeing him above Sniper 1 and stuff so far, it's like, oh, I don't know.
I know, but
That's just my bias.
yeah, that's just it. Like, I was going through these and trying to warrant where the placement is. Like, the moment I've got Fear just below Pain. I think Fear was a very limited fight. Like, you in HD edition, you have the aspect of Fate Death Pill, bait him in. In the new ones, you just mow him down. But realistically, it's the same aspect. You just want to mow him down because it's annoying.
But that's in the speed run, okay? So you're neglecting the casual approach there. Casually, there's a lot you can do because you can throw poison animals and make him eat them and get poisoned. You can get him to walk into traps. You can bait him, like you said, with a fake death. You can, in the older versions, you can do the stun grenade, to which then an AK does stun damage to drain him in one. And the arena's pretty interesting. He jumps around a lot. I don't know. I think casually it's cooler than it is in the speedrun, 100%. I think it's a cool fight. I think it's better than the Pain. I think I would swap them personally. That's it.
I think that's fair.
I don't know if I'd put that above Harrier and Raze. I don't know if I'd put Fear above Raze. It ain't as good as Raze, I don't think. This is your list, obviously. I'm just a guest, but
I mean, environment-wise, if we're going on casual aspects, the environment-wise, it's definitely more appealing and interesting than Raze.
I agree.
And Harrier, because they both are just one single platform. Whereas this, you're a lot more sort of a jungle. You're immersed in the fact is you're fighting Predator effectively.
Yeah, okay,
just without mechanics.
Just environmentally, it does add a lot. All the different trees and everything. It's okay. I see it. I'm with you now. I'm with you.
That's fair. All right, we'll go with that for Fear. After Fear, we had the end. I'm just gonna go S tier. I think
I'm not even going to dispute this. He is the next Mantis with the fourth wall breaks. The ways you can kill him before the fight, you can change the system clock so he's dead by the time you get there. You can hold his bird up to tell you where he is, and you can hold him up and get his camo. It's really cool. Like very, very good fight. And speedrun wise, can you explain the difference? Because you saw this the other day, right? There's two different. There's the one that you do in Delta, and then there's the HD edition, and they're both drastically different, as we learned from Zero's guide. I think it might be worth showing this because it's a cool fight. So, sorry to drag it on a bit, but
no, that's fine. That's fine. I did go through how we do it, but I'll show an example. Whilst I just fix them, because I noticed that we did have one missing again.
Oh, who do we miss this time?
There's Fury. Apparently, everyone wants to get pictures where there's no heads attached to them. That's probably PTSD, folks, because the Fury has hurt me many, many times.
Yeah, he's the hardest boss in that game, casually and in a speed run.
Okay, I've got nothing on those. Right, I'll just find it in a run.
Find your one. Yeah, just use your one. We can highlight like your recent PB that you got for Delta. The category you did.
We'll do that. I mean, this hasn't got my most recent PB on this.
Not yet, which is apparently. But if you subscribe now, and you'll see, as I said that, the subscribe thing probably lit up below the YouTube video. You could subscribe now in order to be kept in the loop in which Gordos PBs will be live and public for you to watch. Because there is one a darn sight faster than the one you're seeing on screen, but we're just going to use it as a reference for this fight.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to get you to the start of the fight here. So, okay, so we grab the S with a sniper here from the little hut beforehand. We then hop down here. And now we're just trying to find out the location. He appears on the left or the right. So he's on the left here, so we're going to get a shot at him. You want to hit him.
If
Wow,
the
I
headshot
was
right,
bad.
it's important, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen the headshots here. This is like a refresher to see how bad I was about 5 days ago. But as you can see here, I'm missing all these. But I'm also not zoomed in on 10. Usually zoom, folks. Just
10 times. Yep, that's yep.
And then you retrospectively, once you had him, so talk you through what should have happened. We do one shot, we sidestep. We then go back out, we then do 2 headshots. He then goes to run off. We go towards this trap here to get caught. And then what happens there, it prompts him to come back and laugh, basically. And he'll appear on the left or the right hand side. So you'll see a shine shortly. Which we got on the left here. Now I haven't done enough damage here, so it's not going to give me the thing I need, and I'm also cannot shoot for the life of me. This is real content, folks. There you go. Look, right there, he should have been dead. But we hadn't done enough damage in the previous parts to it, so you are going to see me kind of chase him around a bit, and I guess this loops into the casual aspect of it as to
I'm not seeing
how
him.
the fight can be quite bad. Because you
And
can follow
even
him
in
around for
this-
days.
And how it can basically derail, because as we're seeing from this example here, this is one where it's kind of derailed from the intended strategy. But as I alluded to earlier, you'll see in one of Gordo's much faster runs than this coming up on the channel, where he's executed this really like spot on to the textbook.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, we're now going for strolls here, and this is what happens. Like
That's
if you don't
unfortunate.
catch
You
it,
almost had it.
we didn't almost had it. You were lying to
Not-
yourself,
not,
but
like,
you were new.
perfect, but
You
you
were
almost
a
had it.
newer, less advanced Gordo. I know. I respect you. So yeah, at this point here, if you get this, just
We get to
reset.
show that this boss fight has the biggest amount of environment in which to battle in, because it's multiple screens. You don't see this in the speed run, but casually, and as we're getting to demonstrate right now, there's some big zones to cover. So it's kind of, this is the perfect clip, believe it or not, because we get to show that.
Now he's up here. I think we get him shortly.
Behind you. Yeah.
He's gone up that way, if I remember rightly. Yeah, and I still don't get the shots off on him because at this point here, I'm a rookie. There you go.
Could have been worse. Could have been worse. I think it was
You
still
know,
better than last time.
Shut up,
So,
Gordo. You was terrible.
take it.
Get good, scrub. And
That's
is how
just
things are gonna roll.
your normal positive attitude kicking in on past Gordo there, because he was like, yeah, it could have been worse, you know. That was me. I would have been flipped. I would have been raging at that point. Reset.
Exactly, but if that happens in the fight post, you can just take the fake death pill, press continue, and restart that fight, and you would just want to get used to going through that again. That's how you do it in the speed run.
Oh, that's
You
a
don't
good
wanna
way to back
chase
it
him.
up, right?
Yeah, you don't chase him. If you have to chase him, you just hit fake death pill, just go again. There is no reason to go through the forest.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
It's because you have to go through like several different areas to try and get him. Because if he's on the right as well, you're
Yeah.
going to venture out even further to try and get over to there, and you have to figure out where he went to. Left, he normally goes in that space on the left, but it's not guaranteed. He can go somewhere else. He can go to the point of where we just were. You then follow that round further, you get to the ledge where he was, and there's another kind of area behind that you can go to, and you can go that way. So you're venturing even more out. So yeah, the end, S tier, no question.
I believe in HD edition, there's also that fight where the one we watched from Major Zeros, where you have to like snipe him the other side of the canyon, and you have to, isn't it? You throw 2 stuns on the left, and it has to be to the rocks on that marker, and then you have around 10 seconds in which to snipe him, before he's recovered, right? And you just 2 stuns and like 2 snipes or something, and it looks like quite a technical but quite a good fight, very quick, and you just meet him in one area and it's over.
Yeah, exactly. And there is other strats to do on the newest version as well as the older one. Like they said, you do the 2 to 3 stuns left hand side, shoot or trank. I think you can do both. And
I think
then you,
trank, because the stuns will trank him, right? So it's all the same bar. So presumably trank.
you'll go 3 stuns or 2 stuns, shoot, and then wait a moment, then shoot again a few times. Then you should basically just mow them down from there. And then there's one if you on the new edition, whereas you kind of run instead of running to the side, you'll run forward towards like where the kind of canyon is, meeting partway there. You will shoot across, and then you start punching. Like you basically waste a little bit of time, start just punching the rocks next to you for a set point till you've moved far enough down, and then he appears behind us, which we then shoot, and then we run up to him as he's trying to run away and get the last shot on him.
Did you explain about the docks as well? Because in your Delta
Mhm.
run, you guys shoot him a little bit to get early damage, right?
Yep, the importance obviously of that, because if you that strat doesn't work if you don't damage him at the docks.
Yeah.
It just doesn't play out. You don't have enough damage overall, and you have to chase him through it. And then the aspects casually, you can just kill him before it all happens.
Yeah, I used to always do on the PlayStation 2. I used to do the system clock trick where I would like make it 2045 or whatever you could do, and then load back in, and he's dead, but all of your rations are all now rotten, like all of your food and stuff.
No, it's an interesting fight for sure. The end is
Yeah.
probably one of the best.
I think one of the best in the series, I would say, personally. Yeah, agreed.
100%. Following on from the end, we have the Fury. I didn't rate this one as of yet. I'm going to put him at D because he's a nub. No,
Because he ends my runs, he sucks. He's the worst boss.
Mhm.
I like the logic. Yeah, I like that. Nice logic. I
To
think.
be, I mean, Fury's actually an interesting fight because the way you approach him and having to deal with him, he's a lot harder than some of these other ones.
It's very technical, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say more technical than Fear. I'd say
Yeah.
more. The Shagahad is technical and how you deal with it.
Is it though? Do you not just fire rockets at it till it dies?
Yeah, but if you don't do it in this right way, you've seen my runs. It doesn't end well.
That's only in a speed run, but casually, I don't know about that, so I just fucking pump him full of rockets until the health bar runs out, mate. I don't know any different. I hit, hit the tread, hit the tank, hit the tread, hit the tank. We all know that. I think the Fury is more technical, personally.
I'd put, if we're gonna go based on that, I'd put Fury A alongside Vulcan.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. He would be like
He's
the equivalent
interesting.
as well. Yeah, it's a hard fight. Even casually, you can quite easily die to the fire damage. It does a lot. And you can
Yep.
shoot the pipes. There's a trophy for it. You can shoot the pipes to let out the water or gas or whatever it is to like extinguish the flames, I believe, or even shoot the pipes to make the flames worse. I can't remember which now. There might be both options in that room, but there are multiple different like unique things you can do in that fight.
Yeah, and there's also the additional fire barrels around there scattered throughout, which you can use to your advantage to try to do additional damage to him.
Do they explode?
They do, yeah.
Okay. So
There's
tell us about
about
the
3.
speed run. Like, tell us about how you deal with him in your run in Delta.
I just hope he dies and like move on with my life because he never dies. He just doesn't die. No, so respectfully, there's the proper way to do it is if he's on the right hand side. Let's say I'm going to call it barrel side and non-barrel side. If he's on barrel side, because he has 2 places to spawn. If he's on barrel side, that's your better RNG. If you can pull this off, I haven't pulled this off yet because it never seems to work out. You want to walk in there with the ease gun, line up with him. As he's about to like charge up his jetpack to fly off and all that stuff, you want to roll next to him, get the knife out, and then you want to basically slash him a few times, knock him down further down the corridor because there is a ledge next to you, or behind you, should I say. Sometimes he can just be an idiot and fall down there. If he does that, he has to fly back up and then fly onto the map, and it's just
Waste
the
time,
pain.
right?
You chase him around the place, but if you knock him down, you then go prone, you get the Patri out, and you don't spray, but you put 2 shots in him, and then after his iframes come off, you then shoot the barrel next to him, which should then finish him. That's how it's supposed to go. How I've been doing it, because it's not been going that way, is I've gone the respect of having the knife out, get to the side of him, mow him down with the knife. He'll get up, he'll flamethrower me, so I'll go prone so he doesn't knock me too far back so I don't fall off the ledge. Get up, do the knife again, and then if need be for the last hit, I'll use the Patriot because he's most likely going to be trying to run away at some point or fly away because he likes to do that. But otherwise, if he's close enough, just knife him. And that's the speedruns aspect and my own backups that I've had to try and work with.
And it's not
nutshell.
easy to execute that either, right? Like that's
No, I fail it 9 times out of
It can
10.
go south so easily. Yeah, I've seen it go off the rails, and then I know that your contingency there is to just fall off the side and continue because it's quicker to reset the fight and just try and go for the strategy, right? Same as with Vamp 1. Reminds me of Vamp 1 that if you don't get the immediate strat, just go again, because you could easily retry the fight and get the strat TM quicker than you could clear up a fight that's gone south.
Speedrun guide
In my
for
100%.
Metal Gear Solid Delta. First thing you want to do is go to the options.
Oh, we get an example pulled up.
Yeah,
For the magic. With the magic of television, we're going to show. Is this Mr. Dan's guide? The
It is
legend.
indeed.
Shout outs to Mr. Dan.
all right. So yeah, we go.
These menace of Metal Gear Solid speedrunning.
We are approaching Fury now. This is just beforehand, so we're getting set up here with the easy gun and the knife ready. He's going to show us one example. Now, there are points you can under damage here as
The
well.
Fury
So
is just
there's
like
that.
the original, but he takes
And-
more
But so
The
first
way
thing
in
we're going to do
which-
is find
Try
them.
and shoot him 3
The way in
times
which you
until
enter the
he
arena
falls
is
to the
important
ground.
as well, isn't it?
And when he gets up,
Um,
take cover and hope
Just for
that he
speed,
charges
hopping over the
his
ledge just
jetpack
gives a little
in
more
place.
speed rather than climbing
If he
down.
flies
More
away,
so than
you
anything.
unfortunately have bad
I
luck
thought he
on your
manipulated
side.
the boss's position.
Keep
But...
shooting him until the fight is
No, I
done.
think that's more an HD edition. That one applies in that one. This one is just RNG. You either get left or right.
Okay, he's going. Yeah, he's doing the snipe strat, right? Yeah.
So this is the older one. I thought I'd pull up both.
Yeah.
This one's actually the
Yeah,
older
yeah.
guide that's used,
Okay.
and an alternative. But this one is using the Mosin
Mosin, that
sniper.
gun.
Yeah, but we don't grab that anymore. But you can, and you can use it to do everything you're doing here, which is just mow him down with that.
Yeah, the Mosin is the Trank sniper rifle for those uninitiated. It's what you receive from the end. I believe.
Okay, guys,
Do you get it from the
welcome
end?
to
I'm sure that's
video.
where you get it. It's his gun.
I will be
I can't remember how you get it,
how
but
to be
you
better
get it.
at-
Yeah, for those of you that like Metal Gear Solid speedruns and stuff as well, and you want to
Nice,
learn from the
but
guides, Mr.
switch
Dan
to the
here,
easy gun
who we're
again.
showing these guides
This
from,
fight will have
he is
some
one of the
RNG.
best runners from the series, and does have some extensive guides. He's a very good runner as well. Shout outs to him.
And this is the more up to date. This is the one I was
Okay, so
referring
if he
to.
spawns right, we have bad luck. But if he spawns left, he's we're good. So let's check.
So we'll run here. He's on the
Spawn
left.
Good.
So line up with the easy
Aim.
gun. Wait for him a second.
Don't move yet. Roll. Equip the knife. Aim over here. Crouch and crawl. Oh, perfect. So he didn't give
And
us.
it's like waiting to manipulate him to do a certain attack. You're like waiting
Okay,
for him
so
to
in
charge
that
up the
case, we didn't
flamethrower,
deal
right,
him
and then
enough
attack him.
damage with the knife.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be doing this fight again.
So you see there, he under
I'll show
damaged,
you exactly how it's supposed to
which
be done.
left him having to redo it. But
Very close though.
Okay, so he spawned right. this
very close,
time.
very clean. So this is the bad side.
This is bad luck because when you're doing like this,
The fire effects look really good in Delta, I have to say.
And look, so we get prone here just to
deal
tank the
enough
damage,
damage.
gets up. And then
Does so much.
and you will.
The knife
stay-
does so
you will
much
stay
damage to him,
basically.
Jesus.
But the
I know.
fastest way to do this.
and then
is
for there,
him
for
to
me, my
spawn
backup
the
there
left
is use the
side.
Patriot for last shot. And that would have been
Preferably
fine.
The next one.
Yeah.
next to
Yeah, that's what
speed,
you do in your PBs now, right? I've seen that.
Like
I
this.
feel like it's a good way to just quickly switch and then bob up and he's done.
Make sure you get him to half health. Equip the easy gun.
And keep that in mind, folks. If you try and do this as well, you could easily
him
just
twice
take
and
Gordo's
find
contingency
the
there and just
entry
finish it off
to
with the
the
Patriot. Just get that
barrels.
last two
The
tap.
fight is done.
Oh, did he die?
No,
No,
he
he
got
got
him.
it. Oh,
He got it.
that looks crazy. I couldn't see it almost because of the fire. Wow.
Yeah, in that fight there, you get very little visibility, so sometimes you're just YOLOing it. At that point,
Yeah.
like, okay, get the last hit in. So I'd put him up
Mash.
there. To be fair, I'd probably put him above Vulcan.
I would say, yeah, it is more technical. I'd swap them over. Just swap them one over like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree now. Like, especially, I think it's definitely worth showing some of these because we can remind ourselves of how intricate the fight can be. And that was only on very easy. I would hate to see what that's like on extreme because I bet that's a slog and a half. And again,
Absolutely.
will probably add to its placement in technicality.
No, 100%, 100%. So that's the Fury. That's one we missed, folks. That was on me.
Yeah. You know, who's after the Fury? Is it Sorrow?
It is Volgan after Fury.
Right. When's the Sorrow? We missed him.
Oh, is he a boss? He
Well,
went down.
yeah.
He went down here. He went
So-
in Fortune Sings.
It's no, that's right. Casually, it's cool, narratively and environmentally. Every enemy and boss that you've killed or murdered indirectly in the game somehow will walk back as a ghost, like all the Cobra unit and everything. That's cool. Casually and speed runs both know that we can just fake Death Pill and get out of it.
Or
I think
Handkerchief.
Gordo or Handkerchief does the Handkerchief version. So it's like it's not that great, and I agree with the placement in this tier list. It's very much a gimmick fight along the lines of Fortune. It tries to be cool, like it tries to reach the highs of Mantis, but just doesn't get there because it doesn't do anything that unique. It just brings back dead enemies. Like, oh wow, I killed the Ends parrot. I didn't know that. Okay, like
Exactly. No, it's just that there's not enough to it to make it worth mentioning above the rest.
no, I agree there.
Um,
So it was Volgin. And
Volgan,
that's like
it's
well,
liquid fight, kind of, but with more added steps. To be honest, I'd say it's more. He's got more to it than liquid.
it has. It definitely has because you can do the Rykov mask trick, which you can do casually or in the speed run. You're encouraged to do it in both because it slows him down. Right, he hesitates to shoot you at the start if you're wearing Rykov. He's got there's many ways to deal with it, and the strategies change in both versions of the game, don't they?
Yeah, so I covered all the difference. Obviously, the HD edition uses just CQC to drop him, snipe him down. In that one, they still use the Mosan as well. In
Yeah.
the new one, you can go through the Rykov strat, which is just wear the mask and snipe. If you're not doing that and you're doing like myself doing croc or tuxedo or mean percent where you're not allowed to wear the mask, and you do the whole CQC, then you just drop him, snipe him while he's on the floor, and then do both to put him through the next phase as well. So you can still do the CQC in the new one.
Adopting the older strat on the newer game, I like that. That's creative.
Yeah, that was as from my latest PBs for croc and gold.
Yeah.
So I definitely more interested than the liquid fight and adds a lot to it, and the story aspects. Yeah, he's quite apparent to the story, and obviously where you're at.
Yeah, because at this point it's a following Snake's torture, which was at the hands of that guy. So like, he has battered, he destroyed Sokolov in your break, in the black screen. And then he beats the crap out of you, and you end up losing your eye because of Ocelot being a jabroni. And yeah, so I think the stakes are high at this point of the story. He's the big bad guy. You've seen him do crazy feats of strength at this point.
100%.
And the electricity and his Kuwabara. Yeah, I think I agree. Like it's definitely liquid with extra steps. Liquid narratively is like cooler because it was the first game and it's liquid. But I think but Volgin is a better fight for sure.
Yeah, there's more technical aspects that are involved with it. 'Cause casually, you can do the whole thing, wait for him to go to the electric charge up, shoot in the back of the head. You can do the CQC. You can do all that stuff. You can also do TNT on the floor and blow him up if you want to try that as well.
I think you can lie down and duck some of his electric attacks or something as well. There was like some thing you used to be able to cheese him a little bit in the old version.
But yeah, in his second phase, he does an attack. You can just lie down and just tank through it, and then just go through the rest of it.
Yeah.
So there's a few ways you can get through that fight.
Unique soundtrack as well, because like a lot of the other boss songs, the boss music in that game isn't as memorable to me as the alert music from Grosnograd or Caution and such. But Volgin's tune has like a pretty like kind of dancey drum and bass song to it. So I don't know, it just adds a 0.2 of an extra gold star because of a unique soundtrack.
Yep, I can agree with that. His follow-up phase, Shagahard, I don't. There's not much to say. They just have rockets and auto scroller section. There are ways to do it, which
part 2.
Yeah, which I covered off, which was like the aspects of the order in which you do them, but realistically, just don't miss, and that's just just said rockets.
And it's like shoot the side, like to hit the tread, and then shoot him in the back of the head like 4 or 5 times, and then repeat, right?
Basically that, yeah. And then lastly but not least, it's just no question, the boss.
The boss, S tier, best boss in the franchise. Yeah,
no question about it.
L'Oreal,
Don't even go into detail. The scenery is already set.
The flowers, the narrative impact, the stakes, the future of the series relies on that scene. It's just it's masterclass. Absolutely.
And I think that's a fair representation of how they look. Obviously, yes, it would have been a lot easier just do 1, 2, or 3, but we don't do things easy here. I think that's given us enough ground overall for where things are at. We're gonna.
Can we just cover a little bit of how the boss is tackled? I feel like we glossed there very much.
Oh no, I did cover it, but if you want to elaborate some more to it on the casual aspects, that's feel free to go ahead.
I mean, I haven't fought her casually in a long time now, so I don't have that much to add, unfortunately. But like generally, yeah, you have to CQC her, stunning her. Normal weapons she like kind of blocks your gunfire with gunfire. Her running at you, and on the classic version, you got an on-screen prompt in which to CQC her back, so it was actually a bit easier compared to the slow motion now. And I don't, unfortunately, know. I'm trying to think because we have seen it. Can't quite place the classic speedrun strat, but it's very similar to the one that you do now. I think stuns and headshots, right?
Yeah. So we go through the whole loop of win the CQC, drop, shoot, stun, stun.
You could definitely show that here right now if you got one of your clean boss fights on tab that we could watch. Because it looks really neat when the way it's executed, I think.
Let's grab one. Oh.
Sorry to be a pain.
No. That's fine. Let me just find one.
I just think it'd be a good way to like top the video, and worth mentioning that also adds another point of a gold star because it plays the instrumental of Snake Eater while you fight her. So like again, adding to the ramifications and stakes of the battle. Love it. But it's a very interesting fight that Gordo's going to show you guys in a second because it's very timing based, but it's not a rush. It's actually about waiting the right amount of time. You have to sort of take your time, slow as fast, as Nostro would say. Or slow is smooth. I always butcher the thing that he says. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's what he says, yeah. But yeah, so you have to take your time to be quick in this instance. But it's quite a cool fight in its execution. Are we having a meme there, or have you got it?
No, I've got one. I've got like 7 different videos.
We'll get which one was probably one of your most recent ones where you had the cleanest, right?
Yeah.
I want to end this with the clean boss fight. Your like good one.
The world was split into two.
Can't I do anything to make that look more applicable? You should be able to see it better like that. Might be a little bit cut off, but that's fine. All right.
That's okay. Just maybe drag in the bottom.
Early in the
And obviously we can cut this out in post. Editing Gordo can sort this.
All right. Let me just give you a bit more of an angle on this here, folks. Give me 2 secs.
Remove your crops. Hold Alt and do that. Yeah, that's it. And then just corner drag it to resize.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, just do that and then corner drag it to
No, that
fit
also
the
fires
stream. Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
All right, so you'll see here that we win the CQC. We go ahead and shoot twice with easy gun. We will then grab a stun, throw stun, turn around. Now we have to turn around here. If you don't turn around, you get stunned by your own stun grenade.
And this applies in Ocelot as well.
And then we do the same again, but we wait. So when you hear the stun there and the kind of zing you get from the stun grenade, you actually just wait for that to die down a little bit. Then go ahead, shoot twice in the head. Stun grenade again. Turn around. Get easy gun ready. Again, we've got enough time on it here. We will let that die down. Go again. Throw stun. And what we should finish upon here is one of 2 ways. So
now, if this goes wrong as well, she gets up and she's shooting you, by the way. So you can see that Gordo's nailing it perfectly, and it makes it look like the boss is like incapacitated the entire time. But that's just to show how kind of clean this version of the fight is. She got up at the end here, see? And then
So that was one of the two ways that happened. So technically, the getting up isn't a bad thing there. That's realistically how it should end, because we go through the aspect of we're going to finish them off with a CQC, and that you can, if you're lucky, where it lets us get the third shot off and we finish them whilst they're on the floor, and which is just a little bit quicker because we don't go through the animations. But in all fairness, it looks flashier when you CQC the boss and just win. If we're completely honest.
I meant that if she got up prior to the final one, if she gets up after your first stun or something, he makes it look really easy there. But if you guys who are watching, if you try that yourself, it's not as easy to execute that, because like I say, it's more about waiting the right amount of time. It's not about rushing. It's about giving it enough time for it to be the right time. So yeah, very, very well played on that one, but a very good example of the speed run of the boss fight.
No, 100%. And the boss and the fight itself, once you get it down, it's a very satisfying fight for anybody who's played it casually. And every time you've been beaten by the boss, to just own that fight is always a nice little victory.
Yeah, she's pretty tough casually.
100%, 100%, and obviously on the harder difficulties as well, even more so.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's a fair representation of MGS 1, 2, 3. As you can see there, 2 kind of peaked at B. Nothing really got past it, and as more came into it, it dropped a lot of stuff dropped further down. MGS 1 stood tall for the most part. A few fights kind of took a slight dive, with Metal Gear Solid 3 just bringing in some new features. You know, the powers, base, boss, and, you know, a lot of different things, realistically.
Are you still happy with Rex's placement after all of this? Are we still chilled at Rex is an S tier?
Yeah, of course, absolutely, 100%.
He says, moving it. Yeah, I knew it. I'm watching on a delay, but I knew that was coming.
I mean, it's just for the piece itself. I mean, you get the majority of the story from the Metal Gear Rex part after, by the time we've done the fight with Liquid. Yeah. I'd say that holds a more point. The Rex itself, it's the first time seeing the Rex, so I think just on the homage to it, it's fine to be an S.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's a better fight than a lot below it, but that's you know, it's going to hold its own just by story prospects.
And from time of release, and it, like you rightly mentioned, like when it was the first time we got to fight an actual proper big Metal Gear outside of the MSX or the NES. So
exactly. So that itself, folks, is our Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3 tier list. All right. I want to say thank you here to Excel86J, who has joined us, offered us some input and some different perspective as we go along. You also in chat as well. You're always welcome, sir. If you want to check out his content, because he is a speedrunner of Metal Gear Solid, but he also does a multitude of other things, you can also check them out over at his channel. I will link them all in the description down below. If you did enjoy the content here, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, when this content goes live for you.
And let us know what you think about your favourite boss in Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, or 3.
And also stay tuned, because you will see Metal Gear Solid 4. That one will just be based on 4, because we have done these here now. So we're going to make the next tier list a little bit more simple and straightforward, where we can actually talk through them in a bit of detail. But until then, folks, thank you for tuning in on Gordos Games, and we'll see you in the next video.